relatively flat. Big sell-off, right back up now as we head into the final 2 hours of the session. That is the way things are setting up. 0.3 to the downside kind of a day for the S&P 500. Dow basically flat at the moment. The NASDAQ, same story, right back to where we started the day here for the NASDAQ. Did get back into positive territory. 0.4 for the TSX here in Toronto. Crude oil, yeah, huge move down. 2 days in a row with a big sell-off here for crude. Remember, we ended the day yesterday percent when all was said and done. On track for the same thing again. Bitcoin and Ethereum back to positive on the session, but only just keeping my eye on some comments coming across. Fed's Kashkari making some comments right now. There is a lot of tightening in the pipeline still. That was the last one to come through there. So doing their best to keep a lid on any sort of market rally are these Fed officials so far today. A little bit more hawkish comments coming out of Kashkari. BBWI over here, we mentioned in the pre-market if you were with us. Bath and Body Works having its biggest day in more than 2 years, I saw. 26% to the upside for Bath and Body Works. Their earnings report blew it out of the water. Beat top and bottom. They also raised their forecast for the remainder of the year. The rest of this group, however, I mean, let's be honest, the rest of this board looking pretty negative. NCLH there on the double downgrade, dragging the rest of the cruise lines downside, along with some of the other travel names. There's Caesars down 2.5%, Booking.com down almost 4%. Wynn, however, standing out a little relatively strong, 1.9% to the upside when the rest are negative on the day for Wynn. Healthcare stocks, mostly negative as well. There are a few here that are in positive territory. I want to mention this group as well, Semiconductors. Look at that. The entire thing positive now. So the initial move down was led by software names in the tech group. The initial move back higher looking to be led by some of the semiconductors, the clean energy related names, SEDG and ENPH. Among the leaders there, 2 and 3% back higher. AMD, nice day, 2%. ON Semiconductor, QCOM, 1.5%. There's Cisco. It's been a quiet day for Cisco, but up 4.5% off an earnings beat as well. So tech showing some relative strength here late in the day. Banks still weak, material stocks still weak, energy weak as well, and so are utility shares trying to retest some day lows as we speak. Welcome back in. Hope your afternoon is going well. It's been a busy day, as I said. Kind of a round trip day once again. We test the lows, come right back to basically where we started. Just seeing VRM popping up here on a volume spike as well, so we'll keep an eye on what is moving around. Again, we've had a lineup for the second day in a row here of Fed officials coming through, making comments on what the Fed's going to do, what the Fed has done, the effects of such. Kashkari still making some comments here, trying to talk down this market a little bit, but we'll keep an eye on that. We'll get into what we were discussing a little bit this morning. If you joined us in the pre-market, so many opportunities as always. Ton of earnings once again today, including Macy's. Kohl's was on watch as well, off a decent report. Sean's here. He's going to lead the way this afternoon with one of his trades.
Hey guys, what's up? It is your trade of the day. Hit that QR code below, man. Join us here at Day Trade the World, the best prop firm in the world. Day Trade the World, join us. Okay, look, I don't have too much to say, which is kind of strange, but the NASDAQ today, what a wild ride. You can see right here, the NASDAQ is only up now 0.1, but we did start the day negative, and it's been a pretty sweet rally all the way back up to the upside right now, trying to take out some of those highs right here. So what did we trade? We noticed pretty early that it was going to be Apple. And if you look at the percentages, this is what I'm talking about today. It's relative strength versus relative weakness. And here we go. NASDAQ now up 0.7. Apple up 1.53. So in the morning, we were like shorting AMD. We thought we had a bad number from Nvidia. We were shorting Amazon. That actually worked out well. We shorted Google, but that's because the market was down. Once we realized that there was some strength in the market and that Apple was something that we wanted to look at, not only that, we were approaching 150 as well. So there were some actionable trades here against a strong level. So let's look at what we did early. I started right now by just noticing this, right? This is what we did here early, and we've been doing it recently. Wait for the trend to develop and then just pick the right names. And if the market goes for you, then boom goes the dynamite. We're actually still in this long. And what we basically did was just wait for it to settle down. We made a double bottom there. So we bottomed out there, bottomed again at about 147.50. At that point, we were also above VWAP, the 50 period, and the 200 period. These are all just simple moving averages besides VWAP, which is this blue line. Once it pulls back down, we're like, okay, let's play off 148, right? So we start to get long here a little bit, 147, 148 break. We take some more there at 147.80 or something like that. Then it just starts to excel to the upside. There's the clean 148 break, which is this high. So we take the long and it just starts to blow up. The only problem here is our best outs tend to stop because we once again see a little bit of a barcode there happening and wondering, hey, we're long down here. Is it smart enough for us to take out 50, 60, 70 cents? But we keep getting topped out there, right? So out at the top, out at the top, out at the top, breaks the range and we get out. So now we're like, we're out of Apple. Okay, we start trading other things. But then all of a sudden, we just noticed that, hey, look at this 50 period. This was another great area to get long back there at 148 again, but we missed that opportunity. Then finally, as we approach 150, I'm thinking to myself, it looks like we're going to break that 150 mark. I mean, to take a line from Luca, we didn't come here for no reason. So there it is, man, all the way to 150, bounces back down. Now notice we don't have a 150 break. Instead, we just start buying these bottoms because why? Bottom buying worked there. Bottom buying worked here. Would have worked into here as well. So we just repeat any kind of a dip, right? So dips back down, possible buying right there as well right now. Take advantage of it. Go long at 149.50, 149.60, 149.80, really just buying them all. And then it's explosion to the upside. And it was thankful that we were able to have a lot of pieces on here for $1.20, $1.30 in the money. We take a high spot there, back in. It breaks below the 50 period right now. We take out one more piece. We still have a small piece on here for Apple. But the lesson to be learned today is relative strength. And in the open, that's why we sort of have this here for you. It just started lifting right off the open. While the NASDAQ, if you go back and look at that, which we can quickly, it's not all the way. We do get a lift here at 10 o'clock, but the NASDAQ was pretty choppy. And you could see Apple kind of just kept on motoring to the upside. As I see, we're dipping down a little bit right now to 150.80. I think my next area of concern, honestly, is probably going to be in here, 150.40, something like that. I don't really want to hold it back to 150 to give up 80 cents, but sometimes you got to do that to have these winners. So if you scalp out all the time, then you don't have a $1.50 winner like we have right there. But it's Apple, it's relatively strong, and it's your trade of the day.
Move for Apple today back to the upside, not following some of the other tech names that were on the watch list this morning. As Sean was saying, their relative strength coming into play in a big way for Apple. Make sure you grab that every day, guys. Has all the news of the day on it every single day. Everything you need to know in the pre-market for free. Just hit that link, enter your email address, and then it just shows up in your inbox every single day. I want to kick things off with a revisit to Nvidia because it was an interesting look. We did have, I'll show you in a sec here, but it was an interesting look. We did have a decent move after market following the report. And in the pre-market, we were trading basically within that range. So it never took out the high, it never took out the low of what happened after the close yesterday following the report. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of a mixed report overall. The numbers missing on the gaming side, data center was okay. For Nvidia. While I have this chart up, might as well have a look at this as well. US dollar here on the right, back downside. So the market rallying as the dollar coming off a little bit, helping this. But here's what I was mentioning. If I zoom out here a little bit, this range here, we never take out this high, we never take out this low from the report. So we're kind of just chopping around within that range, guys. But it was an interesting look because we got an initial push and some strength coming in for Nvidia off the report. But look at where we are right now, back to day lows.
Yeah, back to day lows. But I want to start things off by saying it was a conversation I had with, I think it was Philip in the chat here, because he just asked me, how does the consolidation AMD look for me? I just got trailed out of AMD. I was long that. I'm short Intel. What I'm not short right now, embarrassingly so, is Nvidia. And the reason I say embarrassingly so is because you know it's not your day when the one stock that held weak was the one stock that I was short the top of and didn't hold on to. So Nvidia right back at the bottoms, and you got to let these things go. When it made this wick top, I entered the consolidation and then said if it took out the high, I would get out. Yeah, well, look at that. It didn't take out the high. Go figure. So a lot of times this will happen, and the first inclination is, you gotta stick back, or at least go back, examine the execution. Okay, look, maybe I just put a bad stop in there. I don't think it was a bad wick that got me out. And then if it doesn't take out that high, because that's a wick top, then you just jump back into the trade. Now it tested that high again, so it's very possible that even though I got stopped here, the next candle I could have been stopped out anyways. So I don't mind getting out of the trade. It's not getting back in here. It's not getting back in here. Anyways, moving on from that, you've just broken the channel at the bottom. 157 is gone. I want to short pops to 58. I'm hoping that I'll find my way into a short that's not Intel before we get to the low of the day, because Nvidia, for everything that we sort of said this morning, it's the one name that the original price, that 162, 163. It got there, it couldn't clear, and then it came back into the downside. So it was a bit of a mixed report, and it ends up holding that one resistance level, and the trend's been down. If the market does hold red today, then certainly Nvidia should test the low of the day, and I want to be shorting all the pops we can get. I'm sitting in Intel right now, if only because Intel got to 30 bucks, right? But I was 0 for 3. Well, okay, I'm not 0 for 3 on Intel. I was going to be 0 for 3 on Intel until this, but took one shot, took a second swing. Those did not win. I took a 29.50, that was good, and then the last 20% I'm holding for got stopped out, and I'm working this one back to VWAP. But Intel's been strong, trending to the upside the whole way, and that's what I've shorted 3 times. Nvidia, it's been weak the whole time, and I shorted it once. And that's what you got to get away from. I know it's my bias. I've been shorting Intel a lot, at least recently. But you've got to accept the fact that you have a bias and it gets the better of you. And it's easy to stick to the names that you've done the best in. It's true, right? Like if the best chip name for me in the past 2 months has been Intel, that doesn't mean that today that's the one I need to short. You need to observe the trend that's happening. So next time we get a pop into 158, I'll be shorting Nvidia.
All right. Oh, I see what's up. I don't know, guys. We don't know what's up with the sound. I mean, we're working on it. They're trying to figure it out. It's crackling. It's this. It's that. Snap, crackle, pop. What's up, Playmaker? The Eagles got Ndamukong Suh, I guess. So that'll be good. Where was he?
He's still good. He's still good.
That's what I was going to say. I don't know if that's a big, huge deal or not, but definitely a good one there.
He's great in what's the show with The Rock?
Ballers.
Yeah, he was in Ballers.
Was he in Ballers?
Yeah, Sue was in a couple
Okay, was he?
episodes,
Yeah, I mean, that was a great show for sure. All right, so we're not short anything now, but we were short AMD early and got basically railroaded. It's the worst stock I have today by far. Good thing we were able to make it back on these Apple trades, but that was a bad one all the way to the upside. Definitely just kept going short. And a good thing we did keep covering until we finally got one last short in there at 73.80, which somehow managed to break it down, giving us about $1.30 or 40 on the short side. So we were able to make a decent amount back, probably like about a third back of what we lost, because we took on some decent sized positions here. And the funny thing is, I keep saying that I'm going to wait to be patient, and we actually did kind of here. I just couldn't believe what a great move upside here for AMD today. You want to talk about relative strength. I mean, this name's still up 1.4% with the NASDAQ down 0.3. So still staying up here, pretty good for the high side on AMD. But hey, man, chip names continue to be the name of the game. I said that they would probably lead this market even further. So they're trying to keep it up today. Looks like, though, the NASDAQ, a little downside. We got to find out where the weakness is. We know Amazon's pretty weak today. And then Nvidia actually, I mean, I did try to short Nvidia. I mean, I didn't really do much with Nvidia, actually. At 158, I got in and out there. It's going to be hard to see. There's really nothing happening there. But Nvidia down 1.3% versus AMD up 1.5%. So definitely a changing of the guard today as far as that is concerned. But who knows? Who knows where we're going to go? That's a 160 top there on Nvidia. I still think you can go long testing these bottoms of 156. So yeah, interesting day today off earnings. Definitely Nvidia sort of bearing the brunt of their earnings report.
Now, 84 area, 83.80 to 84, up 7.5%. I mean, the report was not good. The missed expectations. Said they're going to lower spending. I guess cutting some costs might be a slight positive. Down here, however, they do talk a little bit about increasing their buyback program. So I guess the lesson here, guys, if earnings bad, buy more shares back and all is well.
So anyways, there's a word for Alibaba short today, and I probably can't say them. But to say you got run over if you shorted Alibaba is kind of an understatement. And I'm looking back and look, we have a holiday coming up next week, right? So it's going to be Thanksgiving, and a lot of times you get less volume going into it. So one of the consequences of lower volume environments is that if you're caught off guard or you break certain price acceptance levels, you can just float through. Like, you can absolutely float through and drift. I mean, forget about drift. You can just have this happen. So I don't think the entry points or the price decision levels were wrong on Alibaba, at least in terms of where I wanted to trade it, because I was respecting, this 77.5 and then this 78, essentially right exactly where it closed the day before. I didn't make any trades until it made a top and consolidated lower. But at some point, like, you've got to, and I have to ask myself this is the only thing I need to think about when I'm on the train thinking about my trades, is why I wasn't long here, or when it took 80, or when it took that high at 82, because I've said it time and time again, you cannot be afraid to short the bottom and long the top. Because if you're never willing to do that, then the stock that's moving the most or giving you the strongest, most ridiculous trend, you're pretty much guaranteed not to be in it a lot of times, or be adding to it when it's going good. And we've seen this happen specifically with Alibaba before, specifically with NIO and all of the Chinese ADRs, and we can speculate on the reason for that. I think we all have an idea sometimes when they start going what's going on there, but truth is, that's what Baba was doing. And I was just in a short that got stopped out, and now it's rolling back into VWAP. So Baba sat out a good portion of the rally late and was just going sideways at 84.50. And I did short it and then stop myself out break even, only to have it now start rolling back in. I got to short anything in front of 85 if I can get it. The market's coming back. And now Baba wants to sell?
Yeah, who knows? I'm trying to get some more
Serenity
long
now.
here in Apple, as that's pulling right back to 150 right now. So there we go. We just taking a little bit. I'm not going to be in this for very long. It's at the 50 period right now. Sorry, the 200 period. This has been a good little level for us. Apple back down to 150 right now. Going to take the long. We talked about maybe getting out. We didn't do anything there. We talked about getting out at 150.50 right now. We're going to take a long. We'll try to hold it a little bit, sub 150, but not much. The market definitely pulling down, as we just talked about that, when we did the trade of the day, that we were up here, look for a little bit of a fade as we're below the 50 period. So just coming back in, let's see if we can hold 11. While we're at 11,700 right now, let's see if we can hold this 11,660 top in the market. But hey, all is well, because we have Amazon short, but Baba we're going to talk about right now quickly as well. So Alibaba today, look, I talked about the short all day. This is why we got killed early on the show, and it's just the market really didn't do this, man. I mean, it's just Alibaba up 7% today into a red market. So no doubt this is relatively strong, but look at it breaking lower now. Maybe here is the short.
Ouch.
We just didn't believe those earnings, man. We talked about 78 and where we liked it. Earnings apparently not great, but maybe they were after all. So right into here is 78. I just didn't think it would hold it. And then I thought, okay, maybe we get out at 80. But then when 80 came, I was like, still don't believe it, still don't believe it. Kept on going to the upside. I don't know if it's coincidence or not, but like these bottoms here are 86.50. That top today is 85. Almost 86 bucks. So you can see right here, 85.70. So, comes right into a level, but when you're data mining like that, you're always going to run into these things. So there's 78, breaking higher. Great report for Alibaba today. When I see a stock do this kind of a movement, like $62 back on November 1st, or even just go back to here, back on November 9th, we were 65, ripped to 85 today. Seems too far, too fast here for Alibaba on not a fantastic report, but hey, the market is the market, and right now we're heading to the downside. So let's watch out here. Our Apple's about to come out as well. Now breaking back down below 150. So, hey, market coming out now. I don't see too much news about this, but the market is what it is today. Alibaba got the best of me.
One that did have a pretty good report and a pretty good result from that report today is Macy's back to recent highs anyways. You got to go all the way back to, I was just seeing October 27th was that high. 2275. We took that out to the number and are now pulling back with the market overall. But here's 13% on a beat and a raised forecast for Macy's.
Yeah, like this one. So it's interestingly enough, this morning, if you were watching the morning show, there was probably, it wasn't just both Sean and myself. It was also Luis. He came through, and even he was looking at the dip buy on Macy's. And I think a lot of times, and Brad said this really well, he's never seen a Macy's earnings where it was boring, and it's true. Macy's is always good for a big move, and a lot of times it's not that complicated. So when they had pretty good numbers and you're looking for the long, the structure held up really, really well. Like the significant price area, 50 to 60 in here, maybe that 80 channel as well. So I had a 50 to 80 channel. It dipped down there a couple of times. And then you look at how well it was breaking through 21. And then you look at the top of the channel a couple of days ago when you had 21.20 into 21.60, and the 21.20 was pretty good. And once it broke out above those highs, it just kept on going. So finding your way into multiple longs was the way to go here on Macy's. And I think it's like, what's the term? Keep it simple, stupid, right? This could be it. Like if you were looking for something that once the market was running higher, and again, I know Baba went AWOL, and it was much stronger than that little bounce we had in the market, right? Obviously, that's going to be true. But when the market was rising, the thing that you like long is the place where you should be doubling down on. It's like just trade that more and other stuff less if they're not making sense. So I did have a bunch of executions on Macy's. I still don't think I did as well as I could have. At lunchtime, I didn't believe in the long break at the high of the day, and it's like, yeah, when do I take a hit when it's breaking the top and going another 70 cents, right? So I ended up losing like, I think 15 or maybe 10 to 15 cents on that. And as a matter of fact, as it pulls back in, I might like these 22s on the way back in. So great move for them. I think the short interest, it's not as big as it used to be, but it certainly doesn't hurt on a day like today when this got going.
Look, sometimes you know what you want to trade. We've been talking about Macy's for a while here on the show, but looking forward to this earnings call. And like Neil just mentioned there, it's always a good call to trade Macy's on earnings day. And that's why today, if we call about here, if you're joining us for the first time, make sure you follow me at TraderTV Sean. Right here, Macy's. Love this long, probably our best idea. So we were looking long from the jump here on Macy's today, and that's exactly what we have. So let's just look at our trade today on Macy's. So there it is. There's the buy in the pre-market. We don't have that dip down. That was right at 926, but we're still in this name from this long. So this is $1.50 in the money. Just a small piece left, about 20% left for this. I was actually waiting for it to come and break the 200 period there, but I was dealing with Apple when that happened, so I still don't think it's that much of a problem. If we break below this wick, 22.22, then we'll get out. But again, you know, they talked about not having too many inventory issues there at Macy's. They guided a stronger holiday segment for them. So I like the play. Not only that, the break today was pretty easy as well. We talked about it breaking this 2150, 2180 area on the sticky note as well, and that's what sort of started this whole thing. I mean, it started from the morning, but there's the 2180 right there that was made in the last couple of days. As soon as we took that out, it definitely started going to the upside as well. So playing off key levels, playing the names with actionable events, 33 million shares. It's a good one today, and it's Macy's. So yeah, definitely keep your eye on names that have reported. You never know what kind of return you're going to get.
We were talking a little bit about Tesla in the morning. It ended up being, just noticed, a bit of a sideways trade today. There was a couple of volume spikes that came in, but didn't ever amount to much in the way of news or any kind of catalyst today. I was just watching Macy's here at this 22 and a quarter level, guys. But thoughts on Tesla today? Bit of a nothing burger, I guess, out of the gate.
I'll say so. I took one swing at the bottom breaking on Tesla. It didn't go.
Yeah, look at it right now.
Got out right away. Now it's making another bottom swing as well. But it never got up to 190. It kind of hanged at 186, hung at 186, hung at 186 at the top. So that wasn't the level I was interested in. So you sort of fast forward to what we're seeing now. Let's go back to the 3-minute here. And, oh, that wick. That's the reason that wick is crazy. But you're consolidating. I'll have to clean that up in a bit. But you're consolidating off the bottom and have a chance to really take out this 182 level. Now, I'm sitting looking for the pop into VWAP, kind of thinking we're going to get one. As the market has been a little bit, sometimes when you get a sideways or in the afternoon, you get a chance to get a pop back up and then fade it. So I'm looking for it to bounce off the low and maybe give me a 184, kind of like I want Nvidia on any kind of a pop. But yeah, Tesla, either it gives me, the price in front of VWAP in 184, or we're actually taking out the bottom here at 182. First time was no good when it broke. I will point this out because if you're looking for something, I don't need it. I was trying to get some, when Rivian made this wick high, I saw the wick high. I'm like, if it comes back up to the top, I'll short in front of 33. I mean, it obviously never got there again, so just cancel my order. Shouldn't just have them laying out there when it's that far away from the price. But this has been relatively weak, down 3%, which is more than Tesla, yet somehow it's nowhere near the low of the day. So sometimes it's not about the percent down, but the momentum. But as this breaks VWAP, as long as the market continues to trend down, I'm looking for opportunities to short Rivian as well. I much prefer it up here. If I don't get that, I probably need to see it break this consolidation and get beneath 32. Otherwise, I'd have to wait for a pop.
Yeah, it seems like there's nothing but selling in Tesla. We just went long right here off that bottom. Let's just see if it holds this 182.40. I don't know if that's going to be the case at all, but we're going to go long here on it with this big move to the downside right now. I mean, I got to clean this wick up in order for this to make any sense right here. So let me just do this quickly. 315, there's a high tick here. So we have the ability to go in here and edit it. 184.50. I mean, it's not going to be exactly correct. But look at this, man. I mean, this is what I wanted to show you. Now you can see, since we've edited this out, big time movement to the downside right now for Tesla. So we'll take it off that bottom right now. If you zoom back out the other way, that's the bottom right here, 182.40. So, well, it's really 30 or so, but we're going to hold that, see if it holds that. If it goes back up to the upside, maybe, guys, just maybe we have, I don't mind holding it all the way to VWAP, or at least the 50 period. That's $1. So I think we could get $1 back to the upside here on Tesla if it does go. I think it's well worth the risk to reward. So we'll take out most of it if it breaks back down below 40s here on Tesla, but worth it for the long side. Just because we're talking about, or we're done after this, going to be Amazon, which we have a great short on Amazon right now, $1 in the money. And Amazon was another big sticky note name for us early. Brendan brought us the name Fisker today because the Ocean is now going to start to be in production. So that's a nice little bump here for Fisker. There's the news. But here's everybody giving it to you-know-whats about it, all the way back down right now. Fisker could be along at some point, but until this market turns around, I think you got to wait for it. Maybe 850, something like that break. But for right now, Fisker downside. Nice move, though, up for Fisker. It might be one of the only EV names up today. I did want to short, I've been looking to short Rivian every day, but since we missed that 35 yesterday, yeah, down another 3%. Look at Rivian just puking here. Anytime you get a bump up, we got to short that one. So Rivian in trouble today as well.
All right, here is Kashkari making some more comments, guys, about the overall economy, the market moving down again on this. So there's nothing we haven't heard yet. One of them was kind of funny, though. Still not seeing any cooling in this room, according to Fed's Kashkari. So I'll keep an eye on that. Also want to mention this. There was this huge volume spike on Boeing. They're going to reorganize their defense business. That caused that volume to come in and move down as well on Boeing. So watch out for Boeing. There was GM going to make 50,000 EV vans per year starting next year. Okay. We'll keep an eye on GM. I saw there was a note on Vale as well with GM. Amazon, not a huge opportunity today, but we were discussing the possibility of more cuts coming through more. We learned a little bit more about where the job cuts were coming and what units the job cuts were coming for Amazon. Not that it mattered too much. We were down anyways here in the pre-market. Back to, just hearing as well, Kashkari is now done speaking. Back to day lows here, guys, for Amazon.
Yeah, we're short. I mean, we're short Amazon. We definitely wanted to pick on a name, especially if we saw the market starting to fall back in a little bit here. So Amazon, again, we have a bunch of wicks, but we were short early, not great, able to make it back. Shorted again right here at 96. That was a pretty key level. Notice 96.50. Let's just go about the last trade that we have on. Notice this 96.50, right? So we take out a piece right there for 40 cents. We're short at 96.20, sorry. So that's out at 96.90. That's 30 cents. So if you go up, that's about 1-to-1 on our risk. It's a little bit better than that. That's why we took out half. Now we're holding for that bottom. So what was going to be about a 30-cent risk to the upside, we are now 90 cents in the money on the downside. So far so good here for Amazon. I think this name continues to bleed despite some good retail today from Macy's. Again, Amazon just continues to make moves to the downside. Bad report for them a couple weeks ago or last week, and now just continues to hit new levels on the downside. So here it is, nice run up to 104, and since then it's just been kind of bleeding to the downside. We look right here because that's 95.50, so that's where we're at. If we can hold below there, then I think tomorrow we probably are at 92-ish down here. So I'm kind of waiting for a break right now to happen in this name. It doesn't look like it wants to do it, but if it does, like if we can break 95 here, then I think we fall the rest of the day. So I definitely like this short for Amazon and looking to hold it. I mean, it's about as clear as it's been. I've put on the sticky note the last couple times that we've only been looking short for Amazon. So let's see what happens. By the way, Tesla just broke the bottom. Now 182 coming through.
Oh, goodness.
Should have just gone short, man.
I know, it wasn't enough of a pop for me. It's like, that's sort of the thing. Like, you don't get the fill you want. I'm gonna check with Brendan because I know that news that he just said on GM was recently that van, but I'm curious what happened to GM at 1 o'clock because I did not see that move. Where it ran $1, came all the way back in. So I'm kind of curious what happened there because that might give an idea for a trade. So, okay, so they said they see profitable in EVs by 2025. That's the news that got them to bump up and pretty much all the way back. So that tells you what's going on in EV land, that gets given up. I'm assuming Ford probably made a similar move. So Tesla, 182 going to be in play here. Oh, goodness, now this chart wants to do that to me? Okay, I see you want to play it. 182 going to be on the bid here. If it gets taken out, I'll probably take a shot. But now that it's done this, I was going to wait for 184. I'd probably look at 183, and that's probably the more appealing trade to get a bump into 183. Nvidia's starting to head into the downside as well, so that one coming back. And I'm looking for 158 on Nvidia, but it just took out a 57 bottom, so it could always fail here. And we've seen this in the afternoon. Like if you get very range bound, and it starts stair-stepping to the downside. Like I don't mind adjusting from one level to the next, but I want to give it a chance to bounce up and give me that 58 before I start chasing this too far to the downside. I have Intel, so if we really fall apart, I think this should at least get to the downside. The other one that I want to have an eyeball on was super strong this morning is TSM, right? Like Taiwan Semi. It never broke VWAP. It got up to 83, which is a big level on Taiwan. So this was level we're talking about in the morning. So big level that it got to, and it pulled into view up, but it hasn't broken it. So this has a chance. If we break down further, you take an 81 out, and this gets really spicy. So this is 50 to 60 pennies away from right now, but we break 81. I want the short in Taiwan Semiconductor. It's all the chips are on my mind at this moment, and then some of the EVs here with Tesla breaking that 182 just now.
I think we just got to go. I tried to go long. I mean, we didn't lose that much on Tesla, but I am thinking about just hitting that. I did want to go longer on Apple now that I'm seeing this down here. We are going to take a break of 150.13 there, whatever that is for Apple. We want to make sure we get long. But there goes Tesla. Small. We didn't do much damage on this name at all. Well, it didn't cause us much damage. I should say we definitely didn't do any damage on it. But you can see it's a nice move to the downside now for Tesla, breaking through 182 as the NASDAQ's trying to think about going upside. This morning we got a super chat, and I remember what I said, and it was just like, hey man, if you're going to wait for Tesla, you might as well wait for that 170 bottom, and it's coming out right now. It's 171, 172. So you're not too far away from that rate now if there was some interest in taking this Tesla short down to 170. I feel like you can get that market trying to battle today. Tesla not even really putting up much of a fight here, just straight to the downside on that move. So I think Tesla does have an opportunity to continue that move down, in which case, I mean, I think I should maybe just go short now and be willing to hold this for a little bit.
90s, I'm not
into that. We're short right now. I mean, that wick top was 182.35. This just seems like it's the right call to make, going short on Tesla. If the market gives it up, the market gives it up. But, it just makes sense to me to take that 182.50, something like that, to give it a little bit of love up to there. So we'll go short. I'd hate to get run over here again, but I think this is the right play. We tested it for a little bit. We're back into a normal amount of shares for us, but we will average in around here. Give it to 182.50. If it takes out 182.50, then it wins.
Yeah, and so that 157, by the way, just came back on Nvidia, so I did get into that one. Missed the initial push to the downside, then didn't move my order on Tesla. I'm moving it now. Like, I no longer want the 90s. I'll take the 80s if I can get it, but I'm now into Nvidia, so we've gotten that. After Tesla broke, I mean, Rivian 32 is still going to be a thing. I'll be on that one. If it breaks 32, I'll be all over it. I talked about TSM, so we're going to have to watch that. I don't think we mentioned Alphabet. You talked about Apple being relatively strong. Oh, there goes Tesla. Just got the 80s now. So we'll grab that one. So Alphabet also starting to roll over. It just took out 98.40 here, which was consolidation, then support, and then beneath this level, which was support in the afternoon. So right around here is where I want to give this to. It's feeling like there's going to be some entry points into the shorts where you know where you're wrong, and I feel like that 98.50 can be a level for me on Alphabet. So Tesla short, Nvidia already had some intel. There's not much that's lining up for the longs right now, at least that I'm seeing, with the notable exception of VWAP here and 22 even on Macy. So I'm looking to get back into this party. I might step up closer to this 22.11 where it is right now. And if it goes sideways, I don't want to add to it. That's just a crazy dark pool wick at 22.66. Someone late reporting 300,000 shares. I love it when that happens, but yeah, that's not real. Still down around VWAP. Macy's up 12% and still very strong. So I do like at least this long, because I know if we take out this 80, I want to be out of it. So Tesla, Nvidia is starting to work. Why is Intel not falling further? Because it's stronger than you think, Neil. Yeah, this is Intel. Like, it's still working, but this is off 30s. This is not a place to add to it. It should be down at VWAP the way Nvidia is going.
All right, we're reloaded in Tesla. I mean, most of my focus is going to be on Tesla here right now because, you know, we're well below. We got a 182 as well there. So my average price now 78. So let's see if it goes down. I feel like, you know, a good area to get out would be 181 for at least a part of it. And then we'll just go from there. I mean, hopefully we can tick out at 181. We already have our plan of action if it does go back up to the upside. I did switch up my game though. I said I was going to go long Apple now. Not when I'm going to be short Tesla. I don't want to battle with that problem, and we've gone back and forth with that before, and it's just like, nah. If I'm going to focus on something, let's just focus on Tesla for right now. But this Apple short, I don't know if I would like to go short in this name, but if you are short off the top, that was great. Great move there to be short off the top of Apple for sure. And right there, we did get some resistance at that 150, so nice little 40 cents off now to the downside as Apple continues to puke a little bit. But we got a nice little banger on for Amazon too, because there goes Amazon right now trying to take down its day low. And I'm just waiting for 95 to break. We talked about that. We are now short 96.15 on Amazon and looking to make a lower move here for that name as it's starting to crack lower as well. The NASDAQ is not even giving it up yet, man. I mean, it is a dramatic move down if you take them in the last half hour. But if you look at the day, I mean, you still are well off the lows. So if we do think the short is in, we still have a little bit of room to breathe on this. So hopefully, you know, the market will pull back a little bit more for us and be able to get some more out or get something out on Tesla. Here comes Tesla again. It's basically at 50 now. I don't know. Maybe I can cancel.
181 should come.
I mean, now it's going. I mean,
it's starting to go.
Oh, we'll see. I'll put a bid out maybe at 40, see if we get that down to the downside. It's trying to hold that 50 level right now. So let's see if it goes back down for us. Tesla, I don't know, man. If we could take, there we go. We just took 30 cents on that. I'm going to cancel my 81 bid and see if we get lower. So again, that's the whole point of reloading, right? So if we're going to take small cuts when we're when we're wrong, then we have to take small victories when we're right as well. So we'll get out of 20% right there at 48. Not great. It was a 35-cent win. Hopefully we can get lower. So far it looks pretty good though. Maybe we'll reload that now at 82 again.
So I was able to, so the low of the, not the low of the day, sorry, the low of the afternoon just hit on Nvidia there, 156.25. So I did take some out at the bottom end of that range. I'm still looking for this to make a fresh low. The low at in the morning, right at 9:30, Nvidia got to 155.80. So I think that could be your next stop if you break this channel to the downside. While all that was happening, Macy's did come in. So you'll see I do have a long. By the way, if you're wondering what ELVT is, it is a stock being bought at $1.87, so it's probably not going to move, but I am in it. I have been in it all day long. I'll show you the chart at some point, but unless you have direct market access, you don't want to trade that thing, and it's not moving anymore. So I'm long Macy's off VWAP here. And if it gets back, even halfway back into 2230, 2240, that'll be good enough for me. I would want to hold out for a little bit more if the market catches a bit of a bid. But as long as we're going down, let's be a little bit more cautious with it. And as we just entered a couple of short positions, and then managing the one we're in, the market makes another leg to the downside, and Intel decides to hold a higher low. So what that tells me, and sometimes you're wrong about this, but it tells me I should be trying to get a little bit more out here, because if this is still trending up, and it's up 0.7%, right? Respect the fact that Intel's strong. It is what it is. It's strong today. So I might have the high, but if it's going to continue to hold these highs, I need to get some more shares out here because it is not doing what I expect it to when the market continues to fall. So going to take a little bit more out of Intel, respecting the fact it's trending to the upside. Brendo?
It's crazy SPAC we were talking about this morning going crazy here again. SATX now doubled, up 100% on the day, or more than that, I should say. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 halts today, I count. About to take out the highs here for SATX, guys, the SPAC.
Because that's Brendan's group.
Yeah.
It's like that, it shrunk.
Yeah.
It's program or preview.
We got a new program monitor.
Neil couldn't see the smaller one, so now we have one that's like huge. There it is. You can see how
Brendan
big
would bring a report up, and it's like I couldn't read it. What Brendan was bringing up, I'm like, well, he's bringing us news, and he had a list of stocks, and I can't read that. So it's important to us when we get the information. So we got that. Thanks a lot, Rob, for doing that for us. So there you go. They did that for us last minute. It's a great team we have here that's very responsive to our needs, and you can get it off the bald cam. And the weird thing about that, I call it the bald cam because, quite frankly, I didn't even realize that I was getting. You know what it's like. I didn't realize I was losing my hair there until I got on the show. And they put that camera up. I'm like, oh, that's great. That's happening. You're over 40, and nature wins every single time. Like Father Time is undefeated. I get that. So I got a little bit out of Tesla as well, as it just bounced down. But now it's bouncing off of these highs. So maybe it's worth a reload if we get back into the 182 quarter range. We'll see what happens if it holds there. Same thing with Nvidia. You make those wick bottoms and you retest those levels, 157 on Nvidia. Probably the right call to have gotten some intel out there, and then didn't want to go back over to Rivian. Because any strength in the market, I'm kind of hoping is an opportunity to get some Rivian, but yeah, it's not doing anything. So Rivian needs to break down. It has to take out 32, and then it probably gets a little bit more exciting. I kind of thought that little bounce in the market would give you a shot to short it up here, but yeah, Rivian's doing nothing.
Yeah, we're going to try to go something like a 150.30 or so on Apple. We did re-engage in the short on Tesla, but now of course it's going back to the upside here. So we just took we just took the same trade again. So we got a 97 in this time for Tesla. So we're going to watch that. I did want to talk one more time about Apple. If the market continues to make that little bit of a push there, we want to go back up to the upside. I don't want to go long Apple right here. That's too early. We've already gone up there. I am going to be looking at this through 150.30. So if we do get a spike in the futures, I don't mind taking Apple long through the 200 period here as well. So that could be something that we're going to look at right there, 150.30 for Apple coming into play. So that's something that I'm going to look at as this market continues to go. So so far so good on everything. Right now we still have that Tesla short, which on a reload apparently is working again right now. So I'm going to put another bid where we got out the first time, right back down there at 50. If I can just keep on doing this, taking some pennies back and forth, I think that's what we should do for now. Make that money back that we lost here on a couple small cuts. And like I said, if we're going to go long, and then this is long at 71, out at 40. That's 30 cents. Long, this was an easy one. Long at O's, out on an O break. So that was like 5 cents or 10 cents worth of a hit. So when it comes back down, we could be up on Tesla. We just didn't scalp everything out. So we do have, I have about 3 or 4 times the shares right now that we had before. So let's wait to see where it goes. 182.50, and we're out on Tesla. That happens. I don't know, I don't want to, the problem with me going long on Apple is I don't want to go long Apple if I'm going to sit here on short on
Apple's strong.
Tesla. I know, but still, I want to be able to watch the market and trade against the market as well. So I like Apple long. It's not that I don't like it long. It's just for right now, I have a hard time going long right this minute, because if the futures do crack lower, the Tesla should really, really print, and the Apple would just I don't know. I mean, I'd hate to lose long Apple and win short Tesla. I just don't see the two giving me the return on investment if I take them at the same time. So yeah, I see what you're saying, Whimsical. You've been right before about these calls. So my out on Tesla, just so everybody knows, is only 50 cents from here. So it would be, look, it'll be a hit, but it won't be a huge one. And
it's a bottom break, right?
I'm just holding it out to see if we take out that top, which now it looks like it wants to go back up. So you might be right there. There it is. Now it's really starting to go. Don't know why it's doing that, but it's bouncing off the bottom again. We're still fine. We've already been up here before. I'm going to give this a couple more pennies. You already know the out. So if it hits, it hits. Our Apple might get into the long the same time we get out of this Tesla. So that could be another problem because they could both double fail on the break. Microsoft getting back to green.
Yeah, that's always the case. But the thing about breakouts are so very different from other styles of trade because often, you know, if it doesn't go right away or it doesn't get away from that range, it has a tighter stop to it. SATX that Brennan brought to you, the only trade I think that's safe to make actually ended up happening today, but I wasn't really paying attention to the stock after it did this. So after the series of halts where it can't seem to stay open, it has the capitulation down halt off the fresh high, so immediate fresh high, then into a down halt, and then just goes sideways. And when it goes sideways like this, at least it gives you opportunity. So either in this consolidation, breaking out here, not the trade I would have. When it goes higher, there's 45, there's break 48. The problem with this is that's like 1-to-1. So I would almost argue that this wouldn't have been, yes, okay, you take that breakout, maybe you've gotten the 1-to-1. I would say that's not successful. Like usually you needed to be breaking the high for that little consolidation break to be good. HKD was giving you that kind of thing. So not really seeing it here on SATX, so it's not really moving enough for my cup of tea. Tesla's coming back down, come on, and Rivian getting really close. So this could be a day where we end up, I mean, it's been every single day like this, we just sort of end up net short, everything going into the close. I'm still looking to add Rivian at 42. Tesla's still trying to work its way down. Nvidia, I tried to reload it, didn't get it at 157, so you know, I'm not going to get out until we actually break that low of the day or reject that low of the day and bounce higher. So Nvidia is still trending into the downside, maybe a little bit weaker than other things, down 1.5%, but I couldn't get back in tight to 157. So still looking for that reload in Nvidia. Brendan?
I mentioned that note on Boeing earlier about restructuring the defense unit of their business. There was also this that came out as well. FAA unlikely to certify the Boeing 737 MAX before the end of the year. That was out a little bit earlier as well. Not really doing much now, but that was that initial restructuring move that moved it down back to the upside currently for Boeing.
I think when we're in Tesla, like nothing's happening. It goes into the money 20 cents, it goes out of the money 20 cents, and it's just like back and forth here on Tesla. I don't know. Maybe we are going to get stopped out to the upside. I'm not clear on Tesla, you know, direction anymore on that. But we are pretty clear on Amazon. We've been short Amazon. We're now $1.10 in the money. It did go way down there. Well, not way down, but that wick was 90s. Now you're back up. I'm going to get out if it takes this 20, 25 area. I just, on the way back up here, don't need to be in it anymore. It's already sort of went right back to where we thought it would. At the bottom of the day, I mean, we have this short right there, pretty much at the top of the day. That's the very top, that crazy wick up to 97 there today. But we got a good movement here in the afternoon. We're short Amazon here at 96.20, 96.15, and it's down to 95 flat. So this is a good trade. If it does break above 95, again, like you can never get out the best situation. So if I'm gonna sacrifice 20 cents, like I could get out now instead of 95.25, but then I miss out if we break lower, right? So if I keep getting out all the way, then you don't have these decent winners on. It's kind of the same thing that I'm battling with Tesla right now. Like I can clearly tell that this is just basically barcoding and doing nothing, even though the futures, I guess, are doing nothing as well. Like, if I get out when it comes down here to 74, I mean, it's a 10-cent win on Tesla. It's not enough. Like, unless you're going to get out at 10 cents.
This is the problem.
It's just not enough. So we need it to move, and that's the problem. It needs to move.
Like Tesla is right now trading a 40-cent range, let's call it. Realistically, probably on volume, 30 cents. Macy's just bounced 20. Tesla's 9 times the price. Macy's is just doing better moves. And that's why I want to get into Rivian, because I think Rivian will actually give you a move. Now, Tesla's probably going to stop out here as the market bounces, and I wish I had another long. AMD I had one trade in AMD this morning. Well, it was this afternoon, I guess. This afternoon before we came back on here, and it was this bounce. And I'm kind of asking myself, like, why, if I liked it before off of this level, which was the pre-market high, 73.40 more than anything else, then why don't I like it now? It's bouncing off VWAP as well. So I'm going to get on the bid of AMD. If we're going to head to the upside, and these shorts are going to come out, especially Tesla, which is going to stop out, and I'm going to get tested on Nvidia again, and I have Intel short, well, then the long I liked, which is AMD holding VWAP in strength, why am I not at least going long there? And you know what? The thing about it is, yeah, you're like, yeah, well, why would you be short one and long the other? But if you're going to have relatively tight stops, then I don't mind it. Because at the end of the day, if this ends up going back into the high of the day, then you can hang on to that, and then your tight stop on the other one, risking 15 or 20 pennies, then fair enough. If it's the only way you lose in that regard is if they both stay inside the range and just wick you out in either direction. But if you eventually pick a direction, then you should be good to go. Speaking of direction, I'm trying to get some more Macy's here. Maybe I won't. I'm not going to add higher. We'll see if I'll step up the bid and get a little bit closer to that 10 like I got the first time, because Macy's starting to go again. So I don't want to miss out, because this is one that could get back into that high of the day. Macy's showing a lot of strength there. Rivian, it's still not doing anything. I might have to go to something else. I was checking out NIO because it made a big move. I was short early. It broke out. I was looking for it to take out 1070. It never did. And I don't like NIO when it's diddling. I like NIO when it's breaking. It tried to break down. Now I'm waiting for it to break up. That'll be a 1070 break. But with any breakout trade, I put a time limit on that. We're getting close to 3 o'clock. So there's still time for it to go. But at some point, I cancel my top break trades. And NIO's going to feel that fade at about 3:30.
All right, so we're in a new position right now. And I see what people are talking about on the chat. Like, I'm going to try to be as, like, direct with my trades as possible. I've sort of been talking about what levels I'd want to break and what position I'd be going into. So here we go, man. We're long. We just got stopped out of Tesla, by the way. We didn't average into it. So Tesla is a hit, but again, hopefully one that everybody can handle. We were going to average back in there. So Tesla here, long, wrong, short for me, was right temporarily and then wrong. So right now I can cancel my 50 bid. I guess we're not getting that down there for Tesla anymore. But here's the trade now that I want to be in. I don't know for the rest of the day. I can't say that for certain. But if we break back down below 150, then yeah, I want to get out of this trade as well. I want to go back into Apple in case we do get a retracement back up here in the futures. I thought we were going to take the 50 period there. Looked pretty good. Let's see if we still do it. I want to average into Apple. Just because we wicked up there and then came back down doesn't mean that there's not some kind of strength here in the futures. So we are going to go long Apple today against a relatively strong name versus a weak market. So if this can change back up to, I mean, if this gets green, then Apple's back up here, and then we're good to go, right? But for right now, we're going to have to battle with this position. I am going to average in back down here near 150. So if that comes in, great. But I want to hold this trade now. Honestly, guys, what about a 150.80? Like right into there, that could be a spot. I will take something out at 150.50. I'm just going to make sure I have the right orders out here for that kind of a trade. We'll take a piece out at 150.50, and then I think holding till that drop spot that we thought right there, which would have been a great short. I feel like we can get back up to there. So that's 150.70, 150.60, something like that. And again, remember, you have to go somewhat one-to-one with your trades, right? I mean, I can't just go short and say, oh, I'm getting out on a 150 break. That would be, what, 35 cents worth of a hit? So if we do climb up to the upside, I do have to be responsible and make sure I at least get some out if we do go to that one-to-one. Let's pay a couple fees out right now, see if Apple can get up to 150.50 and take a piece out. I'm long Apple right now. I hope that's pretty decisive for you.
Yeah, my stop's going to get hit on Nvidia in about 5 or 10 cents. I'm right at like 157.10. I'm going to try and get some out at the low. I got stopped out of Tesla as well. But first of all, shout out to you, Silver. He said, what up? So I'll say what up. No issues with that. Pretty cool. Good name there. But Polestar making some moves. I don't know if Brendan was going to come with that name. Whoa. Polestar at the high of the day. It's not PlayStation, Bradley. It is Polestar, and it is breaking out. So if you're looking for something strong, look no further. Brendo?
For Polestar, re-upping their production forecast today, guys. Here's a live vent. Say it ain't so, Justin Kozach. Apparently, Taylor Swift has canceled the rest of her tour, I guess, and canceled tour ticket sales. That actually moved this LYV downside on a huge volume spike.
Yeah, of course. She's pissed off about all the fees that Justin has to pay to go to the concerts. I mean, it's getting out of hand. It's the same way. Like I bought WWE tickets, and they're like, the ticket itself was like $50 and like $16 on top for a convenience fee or whatever, right? So yeah, pretty.
That's what they call it, right?
Yeah, it's a convenience. Sometimes it's like a facility.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
but I mean, there is a facility fee.
No,
that wouldn't be Ticketmaster, I guess. But I don't know, whatever they call those fees. So good on Taylor for that, man. I mean, hopefully she can probably the biggest artist out right now as far as all that stuff is concerned. So hopefully she can have an influential move on the market.
That's what it takes.
Yeah, it does take that. It takes somebody big to step up, right? So hopefully she'll do that. So here's Live Nation. I mean, that's how they make their money, is off tickets. So yeah, if people are pulling back, maybe they will have to revamp sort of their all-in ticket pricing. There was a story I heard a while ago, and it might have been up here, like look at 100. Wow, that was a good top there. Of the government, I believe, trying to, or thinking about stepping in and sort of regulating, almost like what they did. I don't know if they did it in the US, but they did it in Canada.
Did it here, yeah.
Where if you're going like on a flight, or you're booking a hotel room or something like that, I think it's just in the travel industry, where they show you the all-in price. It's not like flights from $99 and then $400 in tax, right? So they're showing you the all-in price, taxes and fees included. So that would be kind of cool for concerts as well. So shout out to that story. And yeah, Live Nation, I would say it's a short until they get that figured out.
Yeah, exactly. And so Macy's is continuing to bounce. I'm going to get another bid in here off VWAP, but I wanted to go to PSNY. That's what I wanted to look at, because you'll probably ask yourself, why not just take a long break where it stands? I mean, look at that. Like, that's a fantastic break of the high of the day. And I don't mind maybe playing a dip, but this is what the daily chart looks like at 6. There's been a couple of breaks, and if you look upside, okay, there's 625. So if you're already in it, fair enough. When it took out 610, which was the previous high a minute ago, I don't want to chase it too far. I think if it comes back in, gives you consolidation, that's the way to go. But I figure there's going to be resistance up here at 625 on Polestar, so why not be a little bit more patient with it? If you're long up here, where are you getting out? If it doesn't get through 625, you're in some trouble. Plenty of trend here that you can definitely take some dip by. So I don't have an issue with that per se. Just watch out. Polestar has some overhead resistance on it. I think that's a thing to respect. Just looking at Tesla, so it stops out, and then there's your wick high. You know, sometimes it's going to happen to you, but if you don't have an out, well, then you just sort of hang on to it for dear life forever, which I don't want to be doing. There's still one name which I think might have a little bit more intriguing of a setup, right? Sometimes you want something to trade in a new range with room to go, and that's why I keep coming back to Rivian, because that's what I think 32 can do for me. If you get a 32 break, we saw this happen with like PayPal and Nvidia late yesterday. So breakdown of a key level of consolidation gives you some clear room into the downside. That's why I want NEO to take out the top, because it's kind of a similar thing. If NEO through that 1070, only 10 cents away, here, has a chance to get into some new territory. And then if you go to yesterday, this is what I mean. It breaks here, and you've got some room to get into $11 and get going. And just back over to Alibaba, because there are some shorts that I still want to give a chance here. Alibaba, no, that's still NEO. Give me a break. There we go. Alibaba's starting to bounce off VWAP. This is one I want short into 85. So we're getting pretty close to that as well. BABA, super strong, but the last couple times the market's been testing those highs and breaking higher. BABA showed resistance up here, 84.5 to 85.
I was just looking, I mean, Tesla's all the way back down now. And so that sucks. I mean, you can see Tesla. I was just trying to think about, like, again, you know, I draw these lines for a damn reason. Like, why wouldn't I just wait for that short to come on the 50 period? And I mean, sometimes we just get like carried away trading, and it's like, just slow down, wait for some of your levels, because right where we punched out is basically where I should be getting short. And then now look what's happening. The printing is coming in. So sometimes it's about regrouping and figuring
an actual line.
Your ish out right there.
So like I forget where I read this, and I'll apologize to whoever actually came up with this notion. And then when you take a good entry on a trade, the first out on a momentum trade sometimes is a good place to get in. And it's the same thing. Like, a lot of times you're thinking in that other direction. I'm looking at BABA, not Tesla. But like that initial in and that first out, sometimes it's a decision point, right? But it actually might be the wrong decision. It's good to analyze that it's a decision point, but it works both ways. Your first out for profit might actually be a place to take more as it's going in your way, and your first out when you get in against you is actually possibly where you should have got in the first time. So I think there's something to be said. I always say wherever you make a top wick or an exit point, if you find you've made that top or bottom, you've got half of it right. You picked a spot where you wanted to make a call and where you wanted to make a decision, and the other aspect of it is, okay, well, am I making the right decision at that price level? And you always have to go back and just don't throw it all out. Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, because if you're reading the levels right, then that's half the story.
Yep. Just looking to see if there's anything you guys want us to check out. Amazon, yeah. I mean, Amazon is a beauty of a trade for me. I mean, we can sit here and talk about, Tesla all we want, or Apple or anything like that, but we still have Amazon on and we still have Macy's on. And so, I mean, Amazon is coming back down in now right here, taking out the low of the day. We said we would want to wait in this. I actually put my stop order out, and I saw in the chat there's so many, and you guys are all 100% right. There's so many different ways to trade that it's so important to stay in your element. And if there's an idea that you have, stick with it, right? I already put the stop here at 95.25. Remember? Up here for Amazon. Now you're floating back down, and I'm going to look to maybe change that as the 50 period's now at 15, still moving lower here. AMZN, Brendan.
Not seeing anything on this yet, but worth a note if it does get going. Hertz, haven't heard from this one in quite some time, but Hertz just popped up on a huge volume spike to the upside. Didn't even get positive on the day, but at a big time level over here on the daily chart for HTZ.
Hertz is up. GameStop is at the high of the day. Someone put in the chat.
AMC, I think, is going.
I had to look it up. I mean, just, you type in GameStop, and sometimes I feel like, okay, someone's just getting you to pull that stock up for them. Because I see a lot of people typing Mullen in the chat. I know Mullen's not moving. It's on my quote board. I know it's not going anywhere right now. AMC, like you just said, Sean. Whoops, let's go back to the 3. Come on, 3 minute. Yeah, it's starting to go, but I feel like GameStop is a little bit stronger at this particular point. My focus, if I'm looking for one of these runners, I like Polestar. It's starting to come back here into the 6 range, so I'm looking at dip by Polestar. I just feel like this one, a little bit stronger, breaking highs. Brendan came with the catalyst, and this and Macy's are super strong. So I want to catch a dip here on Polestar with Brendan.
This GM update, guys, is continuing here. So looks like they have now increased their full year, I want to make sure this is right, increase their full year 2022 guidance, not 2023. They mentioned that sales forecast for EVs by 2025, but yeah, full year 2022 sales guidance to the upside now for GM, causing that spike.
What is GM doing? It goes up $1 at 1 o'clock into 130, all the way back down in the next half an hour, and then all the way back up in the half an hour after that. Yeah, you know that this is what happens in low volume, but
Yep.
Oh, give me a break. Not chasing, forget it. The first dip, look, if they accepted the price down here, I'll buy 30s and 40s on the way back in. But this tells me any pullback, and you're likely to fill in a good portion of the gap the way volume has been and the way this thing is trading. I think you're getting back downside after what we saw earlier. I like the news, but I'm not going to be chasing that one. Let's check what's going on with Ford here. I know Ford and GM have been a little bit different lately, but if you get a lag, sometimes it can be worth it. Yeah, no lag. I was kind of hoping you could still catch Ford early on in that move and maybe get a brace back up into the upside like $14. But you're not going to be able to see that. So patiently waiting for GM on the way back in. Intel, at least Intel's kind of holding for it a little bit for me, which is pretty solid. And then I did want to go over, I know Amazon's still at the low of the day. It was Alphabet. That's the one. That's the only big cap name that we seem to not be talking about. So Alphabet is now broken down through that 98.40 pretty solidly. This one looks like it's going to be heading southbound. I'll be shorting to that level on Alphabet, down 1% and looking like the reversal of this trend. Its failure is complete. As I think, was it the Emperor that said that? But yeah, so this one, reversing trend here through 98 on Alphabet.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to try to just focus on a couple names here. It's into the power hour, so maybe we get a move here. Finally, it looks like the downside move temporarily. So we're into Apple. We're long at 20. We talked about averaging into this name. So here we go. We're in it. We're averaged into it. So hopefully Apple can try to hold some of these levels, and we will be rewarded with an upside move back into the futures there. But wow, GM, man. I mean, that's huge. Good guidance for GM. I mean, when did GM report? Month ago, something like that?
It was a while ago.
So yeah, I don't know what's changed for them, but there it is, man. Raises a guidance now. Good one. 10 billion to 11 billion. When before, I know Brendan just talked about it, but just like that's how interesting it is. From 7 to 9 now to 10 to 11. So nice little forward guide there, but the market is trying to break a little bit lower now on that. But Ford, GM, nice upside move. Whoa, now it's pulling back there a little bit. Do they have, and I missed that, Brent, are they having like an investor day or something maybe? Yeah, still looking for that. Okay, so why this is all coming out, but Mary Barra or whoever is speaking right now, there's another note. GM expects to build 400,000 EVs in North America in the next 2 years. It is an investor day confirmed by Brendan there in our ears. So yeah, so that's a good number, right? 400,000 EVs in North America alone from 2022 through first half of 2024. So that just dropped. The news just dropped and the stock just dropped. So I'm not sure if that number is higher or lower than expected. Sounds like an unbelievable number to me, but I don't know, 400,000 EVs. I don't even think we have the infrastructure to hold that many EVs, but okay, here we go. There goes Apple right back to positive.
Yeah, and so I got the first, look, obviously the first dipped in the 38.25. I mean, forget about that, because you broke out the top. And once you break out this high from yesterday on GM, I'm talking about, once you break out this high on GM, then the retracement is back into here, this 38.75. So I like the initial dip. It doesn't go all the way back, but once you break the top, I'm playing this breakout into this 39.20 area, try to hold on to a piece. There might be a chance to take a shot at Ford, but unless we're breaking back above 39, holding above 39, I don't know if and this is a 15-minute just so I have a better breadth of what's going on. Unless we actually break back above 39, I don't know if I'd chase it overall in Ford, but GM's not the only thing that we're in here. Macy's is now starting to get away from that. Yeah, so we're not getting VWAP on Macy's again at this point, right? No. Like it's, these bids are probably getting away. So I got to think about that high of the day that it's respecting. I don't want it touching the high and reversing, and I don't get this out because, you got to pay yourself. We're in the end of the day, breaking out when it's up 14% and actually making a fresh high, I think is a little bit unlikely. So I'm going to get on the offer in front of the top and just make sure we take that out. So from one to the other, here's GM. It cannot seem to get past 39 here. That's the second time it doesn't get past 39. So I'm going to respect this stair step, just scalp it out. I want to get the last outs between 39.20 and 39 even and get some out there. But if it can't seem to hold these levels much longer, then I might have to get out of Dodge because I don't want it retracing all the way back to that original entry at 38.25. And then suddenly it's like, yeah, you're just holding it all the way back. No, allow this, like the madness is on. So you want to do the scalping inside of the madness, try to hold for the higher end of the range or break out even further, or get out of Dodge if it takes out this level and then hunt back into this 38.20 area where you can get a much better long. So I've taken the scalp out. Now I'll just stop out at 38.50. If you're still watching Nvidia, man, Nvidia is so weak today.
Yeah, it's earnings, right?
Yeah, I know. Like I got stopped out here 157.10, and it really hasn't even broken away from that. Like it's, I don't know, it's if you don't have a stop, okay, you're just holding into oblivion. You do put a stop, the stop gets hunted today, and then it's right back into the bottom end of the range. I feel like if that's my level of frustration, let's just stay away from it till it moves, like really moves. I should be doing here what I'm doing with Rivian. If it breaks a low, great. If it gets back up here, I know I want it short up at VWAP. That's a different story. So let's just be a little more patient with some Nvidia.
Brendan?
The Chinese ADR rally is not only just Alibaba today. Here's Tencent Music, guys. 13.6% for TME. Just took out the highs there on a huge volume spike as well.
They reported.
Yeah, 10-cent music. We saw them on the imbalance locator earlier this morning,
That's
and I
what it
was
was.
like, okay, what's up with that? And I think it was a buy. We have to look back to see what that was. But okay, meanwhile, man, we just took a little bit more profit here on Apple. I mean, it just went, ripped it up to the upside. We just got a bunch out there ahead of the 50 period. I mean, I'm waiting for more on Apple. I said I would, but it's like these futures just not breaking this 50 period. So when Apple came back in, we were able to take out some profit on that. We only got out of like not even a third of it, and now it's fallen right back in. So, you know, again, we'll try to put some, well, not we'll try, we are gonna put some more shares here on the bid and see about that break lower. I hope it doesn't break lower, of course, but we'll put a bid down there again near the O's and see if we can get another reload into the long. The futures are having a little bit of a problem down here on the low side right now. It doesn't want to go either way, and I just feel like when you start making some of these lower highs, you could just start to see boom into there, boom into there. The 50 period, of course, is now officially like pointing to the downside, and it looks like we want to take out this level. So, I mean, why would we test it just to come right back down? So I'm not, well, there we go. We just got, I was going to say, our last fill on Apple. Wow, now the market's really coming back in. We're going to get out very, very soon on Apple, a couple more pennies lower, and we're going to get out. Hopefully we can get a bounce back up and get a little out of this. We're only long at 11s now, so if we get back into 30s, we'll count that as a good trade. But right now, futures testing that bottom right now, right down here. And definitely, you can't see, but definitely looks like it wants to, there it is. So now it's breaking lower. Watch out, Apple taking out 150 right now.
I was just able to get some into, remember Alphabet? I'm like, okay, it's going to break VWAP here. Well, okay, it hadn't broken yet, but it did break now. So I'm in the short 97.80, just a hair above 97.80, as this could take out the bottom. I'm trying to add in front of 98 if I can, and then we'll work it to the downside. But GM, like as quickly, and this is the thing, right? Like when you're trading, when you're trading Snap News, if you don't get the first move, which is, you know, like the algos that pick this up, or maybe you catch it really early and you get like a 38.50, you really have to be in scalp mode, because on the way back in, like there will be panic buying and selling all the way through. But if you don't take any profit, you can find yourself, you know, like way caught off guard. Because yeah, sure, you could get back to the high of the day, but I've seen it. Like when we broke this the first time, it came all the way back. You break it a second time more violently, the more parabolic it goes up, the more parabolic can come down. So GM, the good news on Investor Day, but it comes right back just as fast. So tighter stops and bigger scalp trades when you're trying to do it. I could see us back at this 38, and you've got to be able to massage the trades and not hold on for dear life. I said if it took out that wick, I'm going to get out. That's what you have to do sometimes. And wow, Polestar, that's a strong stock.
Yeah, you got to trade the strong names here.
Polestar just, it only goes up. Well, I'm just kidding. Polestar, well, it only goes up today. That's a better way to put it. Polestar only goes up today.
Yeah, for now, today. Yep, I agree with that one. We'll see here.
That's probably the jinx right there.
Yeah, probably. I mean, I think I'm just jinxing myself here on Apple as well. It just keeps on making moves to the downside. So we don't want to sit here and hold on to this, but we just got back in a little bit on that wick downside. So looks like it wants to take it out again, Apple. Starting to break lower. It just broke 150. The futures are going to the low side. Look over at Tesla's down to 181 right now. So that one was a mistake for sure, getting out of Tesla at that level. We already talked about the key levels. We already talked about the key levels there for Tesla. Yeah, that broke lower. We should have just really shorted everything we could have on Amazon. I mean, I just put a stop here at 95.60. Look where we are, 94.60. Now we're down to 94 flat here for Amazon. The Apple trade flushed out, man, not working. Should have been more patient again. Not more patient. We actually, you know what, the Apple trade, I can't. So it's down, the market goes down, but I think we did really good. We reloaded it there, took 10 cents a hit, but I feel like we did good getting out when it broke above. I was a little bit nervous getting out in case the run happens, but you're below the 50 period and we're starting to break lower. I think the only play is going to be a short, but right now it's 3:12. We still have a lot of time left, actually.
Lots of time, yeah.
So let's change up that and see if we can't flip the switch a little bit on some of these names and either get short on a very, very weak name or find something that's sort of near resistance if we can. So Google down to 97. I mean, so many names are just so low now. I wonder if we missed it. Look at Apple. I mean, now it's down to 149.70. Maybe this is the weakest name. What's up, Brandon?
Just seeing this one, low float name popping up, getting a ton of mentions right now on social media. You can see volume basically at the highs, price at the highs. PALI, guys, 1.3 million float on that one.
1.3 million. They're so small these days. But at some point, like what float is too small for the markets? But 32 just broke on Rivian. I did get 32 short, 98 to be specific, I should say. If we get down to the 80s, which is the morning lows, I definitely want to get a leg out there, so I'll do that. Google, I never got to add to the Alphabet trade, but look at, this is the thing, and I don't know. You said something a second ago, or you said it a couple of times, Sean, but imagine and I know we trade, if you have a style, you're going to do it. So you trade specific setups, which can mean you trade a lot of different symbols. When a setup happens, you're going to take it, but you can end up in a lot of different symbols in that regard. But today, what's the weakest semi? Nvidia. But I've traded 4 different semi names today. And I've barely traded Nvidia, and I'm tight stopping a short on Nvidia, and I'm holding along but I'm holding a short in Intel. Well, at the highs when Nvidia is off the lows. Now, yeah, okay, fine, it's in the money. But the point of what I'm getting at is sometimes there might only be a few names to trade, and you just stick to those in a specific sector. I don't mind going to Alphabet; it's a different story. But man, Nvidia, it's been the short today, and it's the one that had earnings. And somehow I'm constantly not in that short, to much of my chagrin. Macy's, with the market coming back in, doesn't matter how strong you are, it is stalling out up here. So it's stalling halfway. And for me, that's going to be enough. I can get VWAP again. So it's giving you this trade at 22s. If it bounces off VWAP again, I'll go ahead and take it. That's 22 into 22.35. Takes them out in front of 20s. If the market keeps coming down, this is a long that I think we can get into one more time, or at least a couple more times before the end of the day. So Alphabet, once again, only short. Alphabet, Intel, Rivian. I wish I could say Nvidia, but I can't.
I was looking at AMD again because you're kind of just barcoding the same way here.
Oh my goodness.
This AMD short was brutal, by the way, in the morning. We've recovered from it, but I don't know. We're just bouncing off. Again, this to me is looking like a long. We're now $2, which is good. It's a starting alert. I'm just frustrated because of that Apple trade. But yeah, $2 in the money for Amazon in our Macy's trade, just bouncing off VWAP there. Again, just frustrated. Should have bought that again. Now that's making a move back to the upside. So we've got 2 good trades on. It's just frustrating when the last trade that you have is no good. So Robinhood today again. Ooh, 950. This name holding out high side right now. This is a good name for me today. We did have that early wick to the top side, hit it all the way down. So this is a top name. Actually not doing much. We're going to stay away. I really am interested in this AMD. I feel like we could make it all back just on this name, especially if it gives it up. But I don't know. It's up today. It's probably not the right name to short into this trade. So if there's anything you guys, yeah, I just saw Netflix mentioned there in the chat. This is a name that has fallen down. You might be right about this one. This one could be a weak name. Just broke through 295. Hadn't really looked at this. That would have been a good short. I am looking for something trying to break VWAP, and it did that. So that looks like a good one, 295, but you're already down $1 from there. So again, just a little too far down on Netflix, but it is just turning and just look at this. Downside pressure on that name. Amazon now 2+ in the money. I feel like I just got to hold that name at this point. So Meta maybe down 2%. What's the market down? 0.8. So Meta could be a trade again. And I don't want to just be sitting here trying to force something. So
you can't force it.
I don't know, 110.80. You know what, a 110.80 break, there's nothing significant about it. It's at the bottom of the day and still has more room to run. So that might not be bad against a 111.20, which is where VWAP is. So that could be something there. 110.80 or so on the downside here for Meta.
Yeah, you got to look for opportunities out there. So I wish I had looked at Netflix. I had Netflix earlier for a loss, trying to short off the highs when the market was up. Just looking for an out on Alphabet. I'm not going to get more above VWAP. That doesn't make a heck of a lot of sense. But if we pop back up beneath, I'll probably take some more out. But if we can't get through 97.40, I might consider taking this one out and holding on to the other 2 shorts. Nvidia just continues to fall. Polestar, I don't want to ignore you, Polestar. But after you do this, which, by the way, yeah, there you go. After you make a wick top at this high, the lower high, basically in yesterday's trade, then I'm going to back off the dip buy and allow it to fall first, and then, you know, once it consolidates, then pick up the long, because essentially you're failing in wick topping at a previous high, and that can be a short setup. And I don't want to short the stock, but I can get off the bid and wait for it to fall in, and that way, if it turns instead of at 6, maybe it turns at 590 or something, you just sort of catch this whenever it starts to make a bit of a bounce, and then scalp that back into the high. So I'm off of the bid here as Polestar seems to be rejecting the top. Could still take out that 630 on the weekly high. If it takes out the weekly high, I got no issues taking that trade.
Some news: Google's paying Activision $360 million for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that.
Wait, let me see that.
Okay, so we are back. We're not back. We're into Meta now. I think this is the first time. Yeah, this is the first time today into Meta. So we'll take this short. I'm going to take it into this 111.20 area. You know, we'll see if that holds. Average into it if we can. This is going to be like, so again, remember what I was trying to say, like looking for something that can fall with little risk right now. So I think this is a good little setup now. You've got the 50 period crossing below VWAP, definitely sending this stock downside right now. Meta's been one of those names that has gotten a lot of upside love. Let's just check in on some of the other Meta names here again today. And I know, look, Facebook Meta can move by itself. It doesn't need Roblox or doesn't need anything to move with it, but you can see Roblox down today 5-6%. What's Matterport down? That's a NASDAQ name. Roblox is a New York name. Oh, Matterport's only $3 right now. So let's go. This name probably down 4 or 5% as well today. Double check, yeah, 5%. So maybe Meta does have some more downside pressure to it. So let's hold out that that's going to happen. What do you think I think about Amazon? I mean, I'm going to. Come on, charts. I'm going to get out of Amazon here if we take above this level, which is 50s, 94.50. But for right now, downside pressure is still on Amazon, looking to take out 94. What's up, Brendan?
I was just reading about that Google and Activision story. So this goes back to the Fortnite lawsuit way back in 2020. So it basically says there was some court filing documents that were unredacted, so people can finally see them, essentially. So they've agreed to pay 24 big app developers to settle this suit, including a $360 million agreement with ATVI. So again, that was back in 2020, though. They made that agreement.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, it's not a huge amount of money for them, obviously. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put I just put a trail in here. So if we break back up from this point, which is this support that it seems to be holding, then I'll just get out. And if it breaks down, then hold it all the way down into 97. And ATVI, look, I mean, Activision, the only thing that matters in Activision is whether or not the deal closes, because it's $95, man. So if the European regulators approve this deal, then anyone betting on this long is, yeah, you're winning, but the market is pricing in that Microsoft's not going to get this deal closed. And by the way, like, you know, if and the people are betting this is going to be the case, if this deal doesn't happen, then Microsoft's off the hook for a monster deal, and this could actually cause a bump to the upside for Microsoft. But yeah, this trades at a gigantic premium. This is my segue into anyone asking about I'm still in ELVT. This is what the stock is doing. I do trade these on the side. It's like not really market making, but it's essentially spread trading. Being bought at $1.87, this is the range. I've been long, I've been short, back and forth in a penny range. I still have a piece left. I'm not trying to actively trade this anymore because it's pretty much done for the day. You got to be where it's moving. I think that's going to be, I think to a certain extent that's going to be Rivian. Rivian finally broke that 32, so we're able to slap the fail on Rivian through 32. It got down to this lower high in the morning, this low in the morning, 31.80. That's the first leg out. I want to see if we can't get a little more than this, though. Like if we can get a break of that low of the day, then we can maybe make this one run a little bit further. I said I'd slap the trail on Alphabet. There it is, bouncing back up. The thing with that news, I can't really see why it would be that big of a deal. But I'm taking a technical breakdown, a piece of news comes out, I can decide, okay, well, if that goes in my favor, hold it lower. If it doesn't go in my favor, just get out here and reassess after it makes its move. If it wants to go back up higher and reject the same entry price, I can jump back into the trade. If it consolidates here and goes lower, I can have the decision, do I want to follow this down as the market goes? But when news comes out, I don't have to sit in it. I can take the L and then work with something that seems to be trending the way I like a Rivian.
All right, it's 323, so I feel like we're just going to kind of sit in the positions that we're in right now and see if we do get a flush back to the downside a little bit, because net short overall, and mainly because of Meta. Our position here on Macy's remains what it is. I'm going to get out. I must have just put a stop order on Macy's. It's been a good day for me on that name, obviously. And if I only traded Macy's, what a different day this would be. 22.17 there break. So we'll get out of Macy's if it does break that. I have to remember to put that order in, so that should be good. And then Amazon keeps on bouncing off 94, but right now we just got that high right there, 94.40. So I am going to change that order as well and get that in there for Amazon. So let's see if we can get that 94.40 or so break higher. You know what, we might as well just go to 50 at this point in case for some reason that's a key level. And then we'll just punch out of that right away. If that happens, so 94.50 break, we're going to get out. I mean, that's basically where the 50 period is. We've done a great job sort of following this all the way down. So let's just get out and sort of, as it floats back to the upside, we will take a piece out on that. So that should be a lot of fun. Meta, the same kind of a story, waiting for a move down. I mean, I could take a piece out for 12 cents, but let's see if it goes a little lower than that, hopefully, for us here on Meta. We're waiting for an end of day flush.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Again, let's see if that can happen. Nice little end of day flush here into the close. You're only down that 1%. We could be down a lot more. We were at one point. I do have a bid at 30 or so for Meta, which is right into here. So let's see if we can get that. It just needs to crack a little bit, and we'll have this one short. Well, we do have it short, but AMD breaking, yeah, I mean, whatever. All the names I don't have on are the ones breaking. Like, I looked at AMD and was
Look at Nvidia.
want to go to that one and straight to the downside.
Nvidia through the lower. Nvidia's going to hit 155, man. Someone asked about Snapchat, and I was looking over to see if I saw anything. I mean, outside of the fact that it's got a wall at $11, I'm not really seeing much. So that 11, look at the 11 short. Support, support, support. Now resistance. So end of story. You're short off 11. That's your trade. After that, I mean, Snapchat had been making a big run off all that TikTok news coming out of the U.S. government and some of the restrictions that could come on TikTok. And I know Meta was strong off that as well, but it's given up those highs. And now you're kind of making some lower highs here. So you got to watch out for this one at $11. If it continues to hold below there, there's a monster gap that could get filled. I don't know why I'm not getting data for the rest of it. But on the daily chart, you're at the 50 period in about 20 cents. So this is definitely making a bit of a reverse. I wouldn't, either you're trading off this high 12 or off the 11, and then you're waiting for it to break and kind of get below that 50 and trend lower. Shorting anywhere else on that in Snapchat doesn't make a ton of sense to me. Brendo.
As part of this ongoing Elon Pay court case that's been going on this week, there's been different members of the board testifying on why Elon's making what he's making. One of those making comments today, guys, and I've seen this floated around a few times this week, but apparently Elon has not only identified someone to run Twitter, but he's also identified a potential successor at Tesla, according to these court filings today.
Interesting. Okay. Speaking of, that Succession show, I don't know if you've seen it before.
I've seen a couple episodes. I should see more of it.
Yes, I've seen like two. I watched 2 episodes on a flight. It was like going to Halifax, and I saw a couple. It's a short flight, so I watched a couple of episodes. I'm like, ooh, this is really good. I should watch it, and then I never did. It's kind of like I don't know what I describe it like, but it's not. Yeah, it's not like Dallas, but serious. But that's kind of what I want to feel like. It's a power family, and then infighting in the family. If you know what Dallas is, then you're like me, and you're old. But I love Dallas. Rivian getting to that low of the day. I was going to ask you this, Sean, because I have no dog in the fight tonight. But what are the Packers going to do with Derrick Henry tonight? Because I'm kind of curious. I have nobody going.
I don't know what they're going to do. I have Derrick Henry in another pool, so I'm hoping that he does kind of go crazy. I don't know. I think the Packers have a good chance of winning tonight. I feel like, whenever you got Aaron Rodgers there, I think it's good. But we're missing more players. Another DB and a linebacker went on the IR again. So I don't know, man. I think Derrick Henry's going to go nuts. Good thing Tennessee doesn't have much of a air game. Is Tannehill or Willis? I don't know.
Does it matter?
Yeah, I'd rather have
Oh,
Willis.
okay. No, it's Tannehill. It's Tannehill, I think.
Okay, good. So if it's going to be Tannehill, I think that's okay.
Tannehill's not that bad.
For sure. All right, so we put out our Amazon trade out. We didn't put our our break here for that lower, but I just said Meta there. It went down to 70 and I got filled. So I took 17 cents there, or 16 cents. I got 71s on 20% of it. Just frustrated. It's not moving, man. Like I sit there and I see AMD, and I even called this AMD move and I don't have it. So we talked about that off the 200 period right there. Nice move to the downside. I know some of you do have that. So good trade again, looking at that move. I didn't have it because of the relative strength, but if Nvidia is going to keep on going down like it's doing, as far as I know, yeah, then, like that's going to send Micron and all those names to the downside as well. We had a big trade on Micron yesterday, a decent one today as well on that. Robinhood, Google, Nvidia, Shopify, Tesla. Let's take another look at Tesla.
Don't look.
No, it's fine. I mean, it's only at 181. It's fine. I mean,
it is what it
we
is.
get a hit there, and like I said, we got to be more patient, wait for those levels to come on Tesla. We sort of got excited there at 182, shorted it, got out at 182.60 before watching it drop down. Now you're barcoding with that name as well. So I don't know. Meta's not moving. Apple's not really moving.
Finally,
as well.
you got to be kidding me.
I mean, Apple bounced off 50. That could have been a trade, but
it only took.
Not really seeing much here.
It only took Nvidia dropping $1.50, AMD breaking down for Intel to finally get to VWAP. So it's finally gotten to VWAP. It's like this is the thing. It's like it's been a grind for this to go timber, a grind because you're shorting the stock that's strong, and whereas but I'm not willing to get into this and hold it. Like this is sort of I'm talking about this because it can be frustrating. Like you just made a top on Nvidia, now it's through the low of the day, but sure, all the shorts are probably working right now, but the ones that you need to be in and holding on to, you don't always have. I'm going to come back over to, and only because someone just said, what's happening with Microsoft? Well, I mean, when this loads up in a quick second, all that's happening with Softy is eventually when the market came down, even something relatively strong, like AMD was relatively strong all day long, but eventually the market dragged everything back in, and now you're breaking VWAP. This probably was another short that you could have had. Like when it finally gave up this 241.50, there's the acceleration. That's where it broke out from, right at about noon. That's where it supported, right at about 1240, and then it tried to bounce there once. It goes through the second time, and the market reverses. Bam, there's your short. So very similar trade to what we're looking at for Alphabet. Like the reversals are there. You just got to be able to take them sometimes. And I saw someone say DWAC is moving. I'll bite.
It was down 7%.
Is it?
Yeah, up. Okay.
It's okay. It's back to 20, but it's not really moving. Not really. It's not really going anywhere. We know what the trade was on DWAC, and that was sort of selling the news yesterday. That was your opportunity, and you really had to be aggressive with it all day long if you're looking to do it. Now it's probably just going to go sideways for a bit, but if it stays long enough beneath this 20 level, the gap should fill, right? Like the longer it holds below here, you got to figure the gap's going to fill down to 16, 17 on this. So I kind of will come in tomorrow thinking about, if we're below 20, is there a short on DWAC into there? And if it gets to 16, you're probably like, consolidation long, and then anything can get it going, and you want to take that long trade. But for now, I think it's a bit of a nothing burger here.
I'm just getting set up here in case we, get a Microsoft trade. It's not really setting up, but it's below VWAP here. It's below everything. I think that, if this market fails, I want to get it to bump up, so I'm not in anything yet. We'll start the short at 70 for Microsoft. Right into here, and we'll see what happens back up at 241. I mean, there's a chance here that we could rip up a little bit. We'll wait for that market on close number. Brendan, 53 million shares to sell. So shares, 53 notional. We are, we normally look for billions or hundreds of million. At this point, it doesn't look like that's coming in right now either. So we'll go short. We'll go short here into the close in case we do get a little bit of a flush down. Microsoft's not giving me the short. I was trying to wait right here, basically right where these top wicks were. Those are 69.70. I'm actually sitting right at 70, so we'll miss that take on a short right now, but hopefully it comes up and fills us at 240.70 is where we'll start. You never know. I mean, Microsoft, we've watched this name. It can move like 50 cents in a heartbeat. So So if that does happen, maybe it comes back up, and we'll watch out for a 241 break and then get out if it does break above that, but we'll average in to that rate. Now, what's up, Matt? Thanks for the 420 there. We like that one. Waste management, okay, WSM, so we can definitely have a look at that one. Thanks for the super chat for sure. Sorry, that was WSM, Williams Sonoma. They report, we didn't have Williams Sonoma, did we, on the board? Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. All right, so load. We just got more short. We just got some short into Meta as well. You guys know about that position. But Williams Sonoma, again, a high-end furniture, right? So for me, I would think that if Macy's comes out today and sort of says holiday shopping, you know, they could see that as being a nice little upside move for Macy's, then I could see Williams Sonoma coming out and almost saying the same thing today as well. So, I mean, you know, what people buy for Christmas, you know, nice pieces, furniture, things like that. I could definitely see that happening, especially with more people sitting at home and, you know, looking around. What are they going to do? Those big Christmas bonuses, you know, that we're all getting. You know, you want to spend money on that. So watch out. I think Williams Sonoma does have a chance to go to the upside today, just based on that retail. So I don't know enough about the ins and outs of the business to say like I'd go long or short on this. But if you sort of take with what's been happening there, we saw Nordstrom's pretty strong, we see Macy's pretty strong, and the higher end consumer seems to be leading the way right now, and no higher end than people shopping at Williams Sonoma is my opinion. So right there, I want to give a big shout out again to True Trading Group. Thank you for the sponsor upside as well. Check those guys out, True Trading Group. Once again, thank you, my guys.
You know, you know what you're getting, market cap is $8 billion on Williams Sonoma and sales at 8.6.
I know, it's crazy, right?
So it's 1-to-1 on sales and it's 8 times on earnings. That's pretty reasonable. It's pretty reasonable. It's at the 50 period. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to argue with anything you said there, Sean. Anyways, I'm just kind of...
Nor should you.
You know what's interesting is like, I feel like we looked at it. We didn't really talk about Williams Sonoma this morning, but yeah, that gets pretty juicy and interesting. And there's, I am still trying to get some Google. There you go, Alphabet, I should say. But this wick is not real. So, you know, I'm looking at one of my charts up here. I'm like, what? It got to 98? No, it didn't. That was just a dark pool wick. So I am looking to fade it off VWAP, but it's not there yet. But I'm going to get ready for this. If it does pop in, I want the short in front of said 98 level on Alphabet. It just kind of shocked me a little bit when I looked up and I saw that wick and I was trying to get over there. It was Nordstrom's that I wanted to pull up because we saw Macy's go, but Nordstrom's has been obviously not as strong as Macy's, but it put on a pretty big move. And when you pop this one over, the trend is pretty solid the last couple of sessions. It's running into like this. So this was the bottom, 21.15. So I would have favored this afternoon. If Macy's had continued through the high of the day, then I think this would have been an obvious punch. But if we see some strength in Macy's again tomorrow, I don't see, and especially look, if Williams Sonoma blows it out too, then if you can get this break, I mean, why not? It's 21 and a quarter or so. That's $1 worth of room back into 22. So there's no way I'm sleeping on Nordstrom's tomorrow. I definitely slept on it today. And the best part about it is when Macy's was super strong and only going up, you were getting favorable dip buys in Nordstrom's because it was a sympathy play. That's the thing. If something's going too strong to the upside and you can't seem to get in, you don't want to buy the top, find a sympathy play where you can get some more reasonable dips. You might not get as big of a move, but you might be able to find a trade you can execute with more comfort. And I feel like that's what you got in Nordstrom's here in front of 20 bucks. And so tomorrow, I'm looking for the same thing. It may not be reporting themselves, but we can definitely take some trades here.
All right, little bit of ringing the register there. Okay, so you're just talking about Macy's. Funny that we just talked about that. It just went to the downside, so we finally got out there breaking the 200 period, which is a great trade for me on Macy's today. Long early, and again, you know, just hit it all the way to the upside. Good out right there from the long. So that's a long at sub 21, out 22.39 right there. All right, what is printing is Microsoft. It looks like that name wants to work to the downside a little bit anyways. Oh man, and as soon as I say that, it just goes right back to the upside. We were just sub 50 there. Like I was saying about how nuts this name is here. Oh, here it comes right back in. All right, what are we short at? We're short at 70. All right, then I will take a 54 there. take a piece out. We'll wait for a little lower than this now, as we know it can crack, right? So we're going to wait in the 30s now for a nice little downside move here in Microsoft. That was a good reload, or not a reload, good position we just put on right now, Microsoft. My first position in this name on the day, we told you where it was below this little level there. So again, let's see if we can win on this market on close order type and see if it gets to the downside today. We do have a little bit of a report on that. And then Meta, again, man, we shorted it. It just went all the way down into the 80s. We didn't take advantage. We were short at 95. Should have taken that, but we didn't. Let's see if Meta wants to give it up as well. We're waiting for this to break 111.20. What's up, Brendo?
There's a note from the New York Post just out, guys, on DWAC and Truth Social, specifically Patrick Orlando, who is the CEO of Digital World Acquisition Corporation, apparently actively canvassing for some funding to get this deal done. So that caused a bit of a move there and some volume to come into DWAC.
Why?
I saw in the chat, yeah, people were talking about it.
That makes sense because it's not a done deal. It's not a lock that it's going to de-SPAC, and you know what happens if it doesn't de-SPAC.
I feel like that's bad news that they're reaching out to smaller investors.
It's been trouble.
Like, what are they trying to? Honestly, that I wonder about that. Like, I feel like they're pulling on like the heartstrings of maybe Republicans there, because honestly, like, if you can support whatever you want, and that's fine, but it's like, understand where the downside of that DWAC trade is, right?
Like,
if they don't get a deal, then they're going to have to find another SPAC, and I don't even know if that's going to be possible.
That's just the reality.
Yeah, and it's just like, you guys support whoever you want and put your money in. It could, look, tomorrow we come in and it's $50, and it is what it is. But just understand the risks associated with DWAC. It's not like it could come tomorrow. Hey, look, there's no funding, and maybe this thing gets pulled down to 100 again, or down to 100, up to 100 would be nice, down to $10. So just watch out for that. But a nice little move there in DWAC.
Yeah, you know what? I know that like months and months ago we did the math, and I'll probably have to take a look at it again, because we were saying, okay, well, if Truth Social had this many this many users, what would its cap be relative to some other names in the space? I'm interested in what that math might be, because then you're like, well, if it succeeds, it could be X. If it's, say, half Twitter, I don't know, just making that up in terms of evaluation based on the active users. So you try to get it to that size or a tenth of that size, and then work that against $10, and there's your risk to reward. So
we go.
I just got into Alphabet because obviously the market's starting to come back upside. So why wouldn't I get into Alphabet a tinge early at 77 instead of waiting for like 90s or so? So I'm in 10 to 15 cents early. That's the way to go. And you know what? I never got the dip buy-in. You know it's Polestar.
Yeah. All these names.
I canceled my bid at 610 on Polestar. I'm like, yeah, it wick tops. It's probably going to pull back into 6. It pulls to 610. We're back at the high of the day. Good for you, Polestar. Keep going, Polestar. The shorts definitely are going to get put to the test, and there's that one long in there on Polestar that looks pretty solid.
Like, I mean, the market breaks higher. Like, I can't honestly, today, yeah, it's definitely not my day on calling some of these moves. I mean, they don't seem to be working out very good here. All we needed was it to break the other way. Like, and then for some reason, it's like, no, we want to go upside right now again. So, I mean, unfortunately, yeah, we are at a tipping point for our Meta right now. We're going to lose 30 cents. It's not the end of the world. It's just like why couldn't that have just been this way? And then we would be well in the money on these trades, but that's not what's happening right now. Microsoft going to the upside, Meta going to the upside for us. So, yeah, look, man, we sort of hitched our wagon on the short there. We thought there was going to be a little bit of a movement to the downside. So here we go. It looks like Microsoft, again, wants to continue its little march higher here. No surprise there. I'm on the bid to get out if it does break through 80 a little bit. Not to get out of everything, but just to take some of this pressure off. The market looks... Yeah, darn it. It's going to break higher. Wants to break higher, and there it is. We are going to get stopped out in just a matter of seconds here. It looks like on both names right now. So there's Microsoft. Flush that down the toilet. We tried it. Like, I'm not going to hate myself for trying the short. I mean, I feel like that was a fine try. It's just went the other way on us, and that's going to happen every once in a while. It just seems like today again, like, you know, you put on a position, and with this little volume kind of thing right now in the futures, it's just kind of like, you get sort of thrown around a little bit here. So there it is. Meta, we're getting very close to getting stopped out of that name as well. So Meta ripped up there on that move, and the S&P as well. So all is not well if you're short. But, you know, the pain is almost over for making calls right now. Only 15 more minutes.
So Rivian's managing to hold on to the short. So is Intel, because it's off those highs. But this is what I'll be mad about. This is a 15-minute on UVXY, which I have up. You know, it's not like I'm not watching it. Pops right into VWAP on the 15-minute, right at $9. Fails that level. So volatility pops up, which is the shorts have been working. Pops up, hits here, rejects it, so that's a bit of a turn. And that's on the way up. Like, as that's happening, like, give me a break. It's a lagging thing. So when I see it turn, that's not when you enter the trade. No, like, you got to at least see it fail first. So I'm in. It's not that I mind going short here, but I should be in on the way down, not the way up. Now I'm tightening my stop because I don't want this to flush all the way to the lows, UVXY that is. If that happens, we're breaking VWAP here and we're going higher. The difference with Intel is I have it off the highs. I'm not adding to it. But we're getting close to the end of the day. It's bounced off VWAP. Remember what I talked about, how Nvidia was super weak and Intel, you're fighting it the whole way? You could just get it all out right here at VWAP. I didn't do it. I'm still looking for it to potentially break and get lower. And now we're right back into this consolidation that it couldn't break before. What that tells me is if it couldn't break 70 before, then I'm probably going to want to get out at 70 here. And Rivian, the other short that we had, it broke down 32, got toward the low of the day. It's coming right back into 32. There was no low break. I like this one because it gave me some room that if it broke the low, I had a good entry. I'm not taking the bottom. But it's not breaking the low. It's back to break even. I'm just going to get out of it. We're close enough to imbalances anyways that I would have been putting a trailing stop. And what better of a trail than break even?
Oh, for sure. You know, so far, I mean, there's Meta just ripped up to the upside as well for us now. So, you know, not really doing too well. We did take a little bit of a short, reverse into a little bit of a long there for Microsoft as well, back up to the upside. So I mean, into this close here, man, it's been a pretty aggressive move, at least in the futures, hitting that bottom and now just moving up 30 or 40 handles again. So I don't know. DWAC's still at that 20. I'm not going to trade that. That's a risky name to hold overnight, Digital World. So I don't know if you guys would want to do that or not. Okay, let's watch out for Microsoft. They just touched out there at 25. Hopefully more of an upside move coming there yeah, I think that's true, man. Bears versus Bulls for president. Why not? If he wants to run there, you know, should be able to, as long as you're an American citizen, I guess, or born in the U.S., I guess, is what you have to be. It's born in the U.S. So, all right, yeah, let's just, I don't know, man. I want to just continue to hold some of these little longs that we have now. The shorts obviously got cracked out. So it's just funny because the name that I wanted long, we talked about that, was Apple, but Apple's still not doing anything either. It just went up and then came right back down too. So I think all the plays, man, early, like just wait for these big plays, wait for them to top out. The market is a very, very funny thing. Like we were up huge, not up huge, but you know, this is what happened early, then it went back up, now you're back down, now you're trying to go back up again. I wouldn't be surprised if we end up about 11,700, almost flat on the NASDAQ today. So just violence, man, back and forth violence today on the NASDAQ. There goes Microsoft too. Wow, up to 30 again.
So if someone's saying Neo's breaking the high of the day. Yeah, I just canceled some of these breakout style trades, right? Because you get to a point where it's late enough in the session, the bounces are about to drop, taking a top end break. It's just, I wish there was enough time for it to make the move that I would have been hoping for, but it's just not there. So this is where you get out of things. Alphabet, the short initially worked. And the funny thing about it is, like, when Alphabet, I took it out and I was like, oh, that news dropped about them in Activision. Oh, let's just get out of it and then reevaluate. Well, then I just jump back into the trade in front. Now, you lose less than you won, but I didn't need to be in that trade again. And that you'll sit there and go back and look at it. Why was I so biased to the short? We're down on the day, and I came in thinking short bias. Intel, I haven't been stopped out, but break even stop there now. Rivian, I just told you guys, break even stop on Rivian on the way back. So no need to dig into any of these. Just going to get out of it. I don't see obvious longs. It's a small sell imbalance. On the volume I'm seeing today, I'm anticipating there's not going to be much of it by way of imbalances. I'd be very surprised if that was the case. I'm assuming Macy's is doing some power things after we got out of that one. Yeah, Macy's is still climbing higher. So there it is. Like all you needed to do was hang on to your Macy's all day long, just find ways to go along that, with the exception of the last 5 minutes and maybe the first 20 of the open. Was it 20 in the open? 30 in the open, and the last 5 minutes, all you needed to do was be short Nvidia. But there's a lot of other stuff that happened in here today that I was trading, and it probably just needed to be these two. There's a few exceptions out there. TSM was pretty solid. I think you got to watch these chips going forward. But I'm not sleeping on Nordstrom's tomorrow. That's what I'm going to be trading some Nordstrom's. Like, it was such a good sympathy play that if Williams-Sonoma beats, let's see if that can't be like an easy way to slide into a trend long. If you missed out on Williams-Sonoma itself, I guess.
Yeah, we only have a couple more seconds here before we get those imbalances, of course, like we talked about. But look at the extension here in some of these names. I wanted to talk about Microsoft here quickly because, like, okay, so we only traded it twice today, right? You just saw me in it. So there we go. Short here at 80s or so. Out, not out of everything, out of a little bit there, as we thought the market was going to go down. Shorted it again on that crazy pop, and then it breaks through 241, and we get out. But look at how, this is what I'm talking about. Like, I just wish it went the other way. Like, look how easily it goes back to the upside. Like, when the momentum is in this Microsoft name, it just evaporates, man. I know it's a $242 stock, which is probably, helps the case because liquidity doesn't need to be much here to break through some of these levels. Every single level here is simply 100 shares or less. So look at this move though. Wow, big time movement back up to the upside, right back to the 200 period on Softy. Good move now. I don't know what these imbalances are going to be, but I feel like they're going to be huge to the upside. Big time. Look at this move on Softy. We're now $1. Like, it's just so stupid because we lost on this trade, but like, well, we lost on the short, but look how easy the long is. Microsoft just ripped up there a clean dollar right through that 200 period. Let's just get out if it breaks below this, man. We'll take 80 cents all day. Big time movement up from Microsoft, 241.90. Look how easy this thing drops back down, right? So, wow, big movement up there for Microsoft, and just excited by that long. That really took off. Unbelievable. Like, I was like, oh, we're in the money, 30 cents. Let's just take it. Nah. How about $1? Big time movement up there for Microsoft. Now we only have 20 seconds before these imbalances. Brendan came with like 53 million to sell or buy, or 53.
Yeah,
now it's 47 to sell. Like, super tiny. I guess it's going to be nothing on these imbalances. Let's see what happens.
Oh, so Michel Hebert saying, why am I not shorting PSNY? It's 350, so that's probably why. It's at a level that makes some sense. The imbalances did just drop. Peloton leads the way. They're all under $1 million. Apple actually 900,000. That's that buyout ELVT, so that's not going to do anything to it. Ford's 900,000 to buy. Nothing gigantic, but they are to the buy side. CCL 600,000. Cisco is a sell, but Microsoft $500,000 to buy. GM $500,000 to buy. No surprise there. JP Morgan 500. There's nothing terribly crazy. Intel's a small buy. That usually pairs off, but I'll just get out of it right now if that's going to be to the buy side. So it is buy side, but they're not gigantic. But to answer the question of why not short PSNY, you probably have to pay for shorts, and I don't even think I checked for locates because the trend was so strong. And under normal circumstances, when you're testing a level like this, like if I was in the long, I'd be looking to exit long as a day trader anyways, and then look for a fail break here because I like to play levels like that in both directions. So if we're not 350, why not? You short a fail break of 630 here. This is actually 627. So let's say it breaks 27, gets up there, gets a couple of pennies above 30, like 32s, and then comes back down. You short it at like 25, stop to the high of the day, and try and scalp it into 6 or 610. Like, that would be a normal setup, but that's not one you put on at 351, or at least I wouldn't anyways. So this could be one for tomorrow if it's playing off these levels. Typically, when I see this, my guess is it's going to make the move away from this top after 4 o'clock, because typically at 351, if it tested here, it's making the move either direction after 4, and it's just a little bit less in the way of it, so it'll go at that point.
We did short Microsoft again. We got out of our long, which was a good one, man. We got out of our long right there. at 91, and then we put our short on. See if we just make a little bit of money back here that we lost on that initial move. We'll take a bid here at 60 if we can get it, and then we'll wait for more in the 30s. Hopefully we can get a move down. That's me at, I was gonna say, that's me at 64. So here we go, making it back on Microsoft. We'll see if we can be positive on the day on this stock. That's not the goal. It's just that imbalance did, well, I mean, the goal is to get positive, but the goal is just to make a winning trade, and whatever happens from that happens from there. So we'll try to hold on to a short, just adjusting this. If it takes 242, we're gonna be out. I just saw that imbalance come out. We looked at it. It did dance a little bit. I didn't see, Microsoft was a buy, so if we can hold this out for a couple more minutes, that'll probably flip to a sell at 355. Could stay, but we'll see. There it is, nice little move down, now 30 cents in the money on the short for Microsoft. Bounced off 241.50. Like, it's just, like, you can celebrate, like, yeah, we're in the money there, it's at 50, and then, you know, before you can even finish what you're saying, it's back up another 20 cents. So hit the like, hit the refresh, hit the everything. I know we did have a problem with our program. I feel like it's fixed. I haven't really seen anybody say anything, so a shout out to our IT team.
Good job, guys.
Thanks, Lucas, for fixing that one there for us anyways, and we'll just continue to work the best we can for you to give you the best show. I'm not going to be here tomorrow. It'll be Luca here, so he'll provide you guys with some good entertainment as well. Hopefully, anyways. Well, he will, but there it is. I don't know. It's like, where is everybody behind us today? Like, I don't understand what's going on there.
Quiet.
Yeah, very, very strange.
So actually, in fairness, because of that, and XOM's making a big move up, and I'm checking, like, Airbnb is ridiculously weak. I got to look at that one, but you guys know it's U.S. Thanksgiving next week. And most, I don't want to say most, but a lot of traders understand, like, volumes tend to taper off, and if you're ever going to take like time off, vacation, that kind of thing, it is pretty popular to do it around U.S. Thanksgiving. Candidly speaking, and I can say this, my wife won't get mad at me for saying it, we literally got married this time knowing full well that when we went on the honeymoon, it would be a slow week in the market. So my anniversary is next week because that's how I roll. Then every single year, if I want to do something for my anniversary, well, guess what? The market's closed on Thursday and it's a half day on Friday. And if I want to take that time off, it's just a little bit easier. So anyway, I'm actually going to be here the Friday. But Airbnb, that sucker is weak today. So I'm glad. Someone in the chat was like, hey, Airbnb, why aren't you guys trading that today? Yes. I don't know why I hit the table, but exactly. Like, looking for shorts, favoring shorts, got to be able to come across a stock that 3 days ago, rejected the 50-period moving average at 110 exactly, broke down in a big way, broke down yesterday, broke major support, gapped major support today, and has only been falling. And then guess what? If you wanted to short a pop, oh, look at that nice little level at 102. This is what you have to do. So sometimes, instead of finding the next trade in the stock that didn't work, sit back, go through your quote board, go through your list, and until you find something that's A+, don't do anything. And when you find something that's A+ and trending the way that you want, then get into that stock. So this is a great look. And whoever's saying, why aren't you trading Airbnb? Yeah, you're right. If you want shorts, this was definitely one that worked out for you today. Kind of like Nvidia was trending down all day. Airbnb, and the setup's fantastic the whole way. But it wasn't on my list. I don't see Airbnb written down on my iPad, so it is what it is.
All right, we got a really, really good trade here on Softy back into the close of the day. So we're going to, have a great one here at the end of the day just to celebrate that. So I'm going to edit the script order again. I only have 40% left, of this trade. And we just took a piece out at 60. We took a piece out at 40. We took a piece out there at 20. So, now we'll come back in. If it tests, I might as well just put it there right now. That's Meta. Sorry, I need to put it on my Microsoft trade. Down here, let's get one at, in the low teens right now. Maybe we do get a fall down right now. So let's go. Here we go. Hopefully Microsoft can come out. We'll see right there. Let's call it the imbalance locator as it's past 355. So yeah, 356. So yeah, I don't see Microsoft anymore on here. Like we said, a lot of them will flip over, but Microsoft, nice bounce up, then a move down. I'm going to, look at that maybe more as a trading idea. But the thing is, the market has also fallen a little bit here. So as the market pulls back, and what did we say? That it would be a little bit of a non-event day here, only down now 0.43 with the ES, 0.55 right there as well. So, okay, Microsoft, maybe it can come down to the downside. Ford got a nice bump today.
I think it was on the
if this loads on the GM news right to the upside. Let's just check out if GM pulled back a little bit as well. Yeah, so they all did. So they all pulled back there on that investor day. Microsoft, there's only a couple minutes left, but we are waiting for just a little bit lower. If we can get something down here, that'd be kind of cool. We're waiting very, very close. So we're waiting in the teens, and a little bit of push down here for Softy should get us out, and then we'll have that 60-cent winner to end the day right there. But Microsoft on a move to the downside right now.
Yeah, and I kind of tongue-in-cheek, like really quickly, just glossed over the fact that XOM turned green like 2 seconds ago. But I didn't see this on the imbalance locator, yet it pretty much right at 350, it made another press up and continues to break. So yeah, big move. Obviously, oil futures, they still trade electronically, but they closed like an hour and a half ago. So XOM, super strong one. You talk about, that's a good-looking chart. Look at the resistance on this at 115. So what do you think, when this gets to 115, set your alert, do what you got to do, set an alarm. But this is as tradable levels you're going to get. And the strength you're seeing today leads me to think there's a chance you could see that one tomorrow. So just to get another name to file away. Not going to take any trades in the last 2 minutes, but last couple of days looking for ideas and sort of finding levels of Nordstrom's I want to be watching tomorrow. Now XOM 115 is going to get in there. Big one. Airbnb, the trend to the downside. I'm going to make sure I have that on my list to look at in the morning. A couple of minutes to go. And thank you guys all for the positive comments and saying happy anniversary. Yeah, it'll be a heck of a lot of fun. I'm telling you, we always say family's life. You live for your family. That's as far as I'm concerned. That's what everyone should do. So we'll definitely be celebrating. Although I'm not taking time off next week. I'm watching football on Thursday, by the way. And then on Friday, we'll be here. It's a half day in the markets on Friday if it's the first time you've ever traded it. But energy names got to be back on the radar. And we talked a little bit about some of the retail that we're still going to get.
Yep, so with only a minute and a bit left right now. All right, so I have some outs on Microsoft, right? If we take out 241.60, we're going to be out. That'll be 20 cents. And then we'll take the last out at 241.80 as well, if that does happen. If not, we are sitting lower for that, okay? Nah, we don't need earnings. We only have a minute left right now, so we'll watch out for that. There goes Microsoft to the downside here. We could do earnings when we go to Brendo for the close. All right, what an exciting day, man. With only a minute left, this is what's happening. We'll call up the imbalance locator right now. Ford still a buy, CCL, not really much on there as we go, so we'll wait to see what happens next. Here comes Microsoft, a little bit of a pull down here. We'll see if we can get that fill at the, you know what, I'll pull one out right now at 50. We'll see if we can get a lower one coming out right now, but that's it now with only 20 seconds left. What a good day that was. What a kind of a violent day, to be honest with you, in the market right now. But here we go. We're out of Microsoft, ending that trade. Cancel all my orders. We are now done. Good little end of the day trade there for MSFT. Yeah, there you go in the market. Getting back to the upside, it's not going to go green unless something really ridiculous happens in about 5, 4, 3, 2, and nice tooth or beanie. It's the roll the sleeves up, but then also have the beanie on the head look. Why not? Yeah. Get those sleeves rolled up. Get that work in. Get that work. So the market, well, we'll get to it, how it ended. Momentum to the upside. Yes. Right? But actually not bad. It's only down 0.23. So let's go to Brendan for a recap and earnings.
Yeah, still kind of moving around here for some of these, but I can show you we didn't quite get there, guys. Back to green on this board. 0.3 for the S&P there. The Dow was flipping back and forth between positive and negative as we headed to 4 o'clock, but didn't quite get there. Russell, notably weak going into tomorrow. 1.2% to the downside. Yeah, it was 0.19 when all was said and done. For the NASDAQ 100, 0.35 there for the composite. Yeah, quick look at these. For tomorrow, some more Chinese ADRs, JD.com. There's Williams-Sonoma Gap. More retail to come as well.
Hey, Matt, and guess what? Look, we didn't even get to 1,000 likes on the show today, so a bit disappointing.
Well, we never asked.
No, we did. And this is the thing. Like, the reality is, if we do this every single day, whether the market's open if the market's open. Only on holidays do we take it off. We don't ask for anything. It's hit the like, hit the subscribe, and contribute to the community. I want to say a big thank you to Bears versus Bull, doing an absolutely fantastic job as always. We know the midday guys have absolutely killed it today. Like I said, this is actually a time where a lot of traders in lower volume will take time off, but we're not doing it. We're always here. We individually might, because quite frankly, you have to, but we're always here to put on a show for you guys, and that's all we ever ask of you. And I want to give you guys a big shout out, because I got 3 things to look at this tomorrow morning based on things that you guys were saying in the chat and the hunting for opportunities. So One Energy XOM, and then Airbnb, Nordstrom's as well was talked about. So I just want to thank you guys for pointing those out. That's the value of the community, is that we can crowdsource ideas and learn from each other.
All right, let's go, guys. Yeah, thanks again. Thanks again for hitting the like button one more time. We're up to 1.2, so that's good. Now the market does look like it's going back up to the upside here, trying to take out some key levels one more time. So, all right, thank you to everybody for coming through, man. Yeah, Pan W, did they just report? I like Palo Alto. This is a name that I own as well recently, so it's not doing anything right now on the 1-minute chart. We'll see if Palo Alto continues its move. I do like that name for sure moving forward. All right, everyone have a fantastic weekend. I'm not here tomorrow. Luca is, so that should be a lot of fun for everybody. And I want to give a big shout out to Lucas. Thanks for fixing the audio problems today, and hopefully they don't exist tomorrow. Prad, Sharif, great job on the midday. Thanks for everything today again. Brendan, Fahad, average day for you, to be quite honest. So thank you so much.
That's about right.
For that as we go. We want Fahad to ring the bell. You know, he rang it in the morning and on the close. But thanks to Justin for that one. But hey, look, join us tomorrow at 8:30 where we come back live one more time for you. So from everybody here at Trader TV Live, sleep well, and of course, go Pack Go.